All gas, no break. Welcome, everybody, to Canton Chronicle Live. I'm your host, John Camo. Some of you, there's people have called me Mongo before, Jethro, a number of Canoe. The majority of you know me by my Twitter name, Dixie Normus. And some of you might be wondering, who is this guy? We've never seen him before. It's probably because you've never seen me before. I want a big hello to all of my friends and relatives in the Canadian Maritimes who are 1 hour ahead. And no script tonight. I have Boozy Beauty with me. Eric is off tonight. Eric is working. This was a last minute thing. I was on my motorcycle on the way home from work, and I said I was listening to the end of the testimony, and I said we're going to talk about it. We got to talk about this testimony. So Boozy hasn't even seen it yet. So Boozy's going to see it for the first time. We're going to play it and go through the testimony, and we're going to have a good time. And tonight's going to be a very shortened Pricks Insider night because I didn't go out. So hello, Boozy.
I can't wait to see this. I can't wait. Guys, just to clarify, the only thing I have seen is when John just pulled up like a tiny little clip, and I go, can the real Jen McCabe please stand up? Who is this? Who is this person? Mm-hmm. Wait, zoom me out for a second because I don't think they can see the whole thing. They can't see my whole background.
Oh, you want to go? Hold on. Oh, wait. Hold on. I got to put you over here, right? And then we go like that.
Oh, well, my name is blocking it too.
Elsie's table? Are you at Elsie's table?
No. Yeah.
Oh, if found. Are you sitting in your car like JFK in front of Elsie's table?
No, I would never do that.
Oh, hello, Reality Check. How are you? Dennis Sweeney. Hello, everybody in the chat. People, I will do my best because same thing. I don't know where my cheaters are, and I don't have my giant TV screen in front of me, so I will do my best to read the chats as they come. But, so what's that say? If found what?
If found, call 1-800-ALLY-BY. Not alibi.
Allie. Yeah, Allie by. That's a good one. That was pretty quick. And people, we just lined up just an awesome show. We don't know when we're having it yet, but it's going to be amazing. And I believe that guest is going to be on the show. So I got to be on my best behavior. So he's like, I'm not going on that show. Not after tonight.
I think the main joke is John just forgot where he was. So we're just going to say he went into Elsie's. He actually grew a set and he went into Elsie's.
I would go in there. It just seems a little fancy for me. I don't go to fancy places.
We can't see you on the screen. That's why they're asking. Where'd John go?
Oh. That's because we put you up on the big screen.
Oh, now you can see it.
Yeah. And we have a 99-cent super sticker. But super stickers don't get the reaction that super chats do. Yes, they do. So, I've been digging into some, before we get into the Jen, I've been digging into some other cases and some other stories around town. And this one just fell on my lap, and I talked to this person, and I think they're going to be coming on. It might even be multiple people coming on. So I don't know. You guys are gonna have to stay tuned because I am wicked excited for that one. You know. So Boozy, you didn't get to Jen.
Okay. This is what I need all the YouTube people to know. Okay, I am a bit of an over researcher. And when I'm seeing all these testimonies, I'm like, oh my God, that's a lie. That's a lie. That doesn't make up. So, what Carrie Roberts, when she testified, I have 10 pages of notes just for Carrie Roberts. So, it took me to get through Ian Whiffin. It took me like, how many? I counted. One,
She's a
two,
note taker.
3, 4, 5. So this is 10 pages just on Ian Whiffin. Okay. I take this seriously because they're a bunch of liars. A bunch of liars.
Well, I'll tell you, be prepared because some of the things Jen says today doesn't line up with what Kerry said earlier and a year ago.
I don't know I am kind of nervous because I was barely on TikTok watching people and people are like, here comes Jen. And I was like, no, I'm not gonna ruin it for myself. Ruin it for myself.
I'll admit, I couldn't take the whole. I got through the cross examination of Whiffin, but how many? They had to shut the air conditioner off for the guy. He couldn't even speak up.
So here's the thing. I almost feel bad for him because I feel like he was set up to do certain things
Yeah.
and he was a little bit clueless, and he obviously was not an expert that is used to doing these types of things. Like he's never testified as an expert in the US before. He's not qualified
Right.
to do it. So I
He's been up
feel
in
like
Calgary.
they kind of, threw him under the bus and that's to be expected. The fact that when they were like the freezer, for instance, when they were trying to replicate the battery temperature for John O'Keefe's phone, they put whatever phone, the matching iOS, into the freezer, but then didn't get the baseline temperature of the freezer and then didn't track the freezer temperature.
It was cold. It was cold.
Yeah, so just things like that. And like,
how are you a scientist if you're not? How can you do tests and not chart all your results?
That's the thing. And the other thing that really aggravated me was the whole. He said on Sunday night he did the drive that Karen Reed and John O'Keefe did, like John O'Keefe's last drive to 34 Fairview. And obviously Brennan objected because that's new evidence, that's new data that we don't know about. But what I really wanted to see is like what he was going to say about that. Because, hello, I know a lot of you have been down Oakdale Road before. Where are the hills?
Where's no hills.
The hills were alive apparently because they're fucking disappearing. Where are the hills? There's besides going down Cedar Crest, and that's not even where they said it was triggered for stair movement. They said it was at when she was doing the turn coming back to Fairview. So she had already gone down the hill and turned around. So I was watching this and I was like, I don't know how anyone can sit there and be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Because it doesn't. Because it didn't track stairs going down the hill of Cedar Crest. But then it did at the end.
Boozy. He said he shook his phone as he drove. Who shakes their phone as they're driving?
That wouldn't even make sense because it doesn't. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't make sense. So in order for it to be elevation, it has to be 3 meters. And did you notice how he kept saying meters or Celsius? Because us dumb Americans, we are feet in Fahrenheit.
Because we refuse to go to the metric system. We refuse to go to anything else.
We can't do that. So that's over 9 feet. That's 9 feet.
Did you see the part when Brennan was trying to get him to say that maybe CPR on John's body made shook the phone enough to calculate steps, and he still couldn't even go there. He's like, yeah, no, it doesn't make sense. And I think Brennan was just like trying to throw him a lifeline, and he wasn't taking it.
No. I mean, like I said, I felt bad at points because I was like, oh, he's just a sucker in this game. I don't think he was inherently trying to do things. I think he didn't have the proper tools or knowledge to be the expert that he was supposed to be an expert in. So, I mean, like I said, I can go over 10 notes, but we're not here. We're not here.
No, we're not here for him. So let's bring up our our girl of the day. Let's see if we can make this big. Huh? Look at that. Here we go. So we're gonna enter the story from when they get to the waterfall. We don't. The other stuff is just puff. You know, she's got 4 kids. This, that, the other. She's a stay-at-home mom. Stuff like that. Yeah, we don't need the background. We know the background.
Yeah.
All right. So, yep, she does look great. She got her. You know what, Jeff? You're right. Look, she got a tan. She got her hair done. She got, she.
Now, here's the thing. First impressions. Can we talk about first impressions from a male point of view versus a female point of view?
Oh.
So, when you look at Jen, what do you think is different from today until last time we saw her during trial?
She has a different cross on. She's got a bigger cross, right? What? Her hair is different. She's got a different style. The style is a little bit different. She definitely has a tan, makeup, and she's got her blazer unbuttoned for effect, I assume.
Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah. She's got the chest open a little bit. Yeah.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
The male. That's the male. That's what you got from me.
That's it. That's all you.
And she
noticed?
probably got her she's got her flip flops on.
Oh, she's wearing flip flops in court.
I don't know. I couldn't see it from when she got to court.
Oh, okay. So obviously the obvious things, I noticed the hair color. So she's got some highlights. She definitely has a spray tan. Other than that, she's got her makeup done. On top of that, she definitely looks like she's seen an esthetician or two. Her skin looks a little more clear, more clarity. She's definitely gotten either filler or Botox or both, combination of the two. And her teeth have been whitened. So, which is interesting. So I feel like she might have extensions, or it may have just grown out a little bit. She's got layers. But here's the thing. She has done so much to her outside look.
Oh, that's right. Hey, that's right. That's kind of what Allie wore to court. The striped kind of shirt.
I wouldn't put too much weight into that. I would put more weight into the cross, because that is definitely like.
Oh, the cross is bigger. Yeah.
Yeah, court 101. You
Yeah.
try to make a statement that you're holier than thou, when in reality you're just a fucking McLiar.
She's no Alec.
Yeah, I mean, like, but here's the thing. She's trying to make herself look better than what she did, at least on the outward appearance, because of all of the clips that everyone ran of her last trial. Even if she saw nothing other than media, like Fox 25, whatever, like mainstream media, those clips were not good. Never mind the rest of us.
All right. People, don't hate me for this. For 49 years old, she's not that bad. She's a B plus.
I mean, she has the money and the wherewithal and the time to take care of.
Yeah.
She doesn't have a fucking job. She's a stay-at-home mom. She has plenty of time.
So there she goes. I don't think she looks her age. She's good. She's fine.
Here's the thing. You can make yourself look.
That's my girl. I'm protecting my girl.
You can make yourself look a certain way on the outside. It does not mean you are not trash on the inside.
If it wasn't right here. Somebody sent me this today, too. I told you, don't let her look sway me. If it wasn't for this person right there, I wouldn't be on a show right now. Because had she not sent that Instagram photo of me in, I probably would have just been a quick little blip. Made a couple memes. All right? So thank you. Thank you, Jen, for bringing me on board in this whole thing.
I mean, she did all of this so that she would at least look better on the outside appearance-wise. I mean, we already know she's going to get torn apart. She has done too much dumb stuff in order not to be from trial 1 to now.
Wait till you hear the direct. She's not even under cross today. She is going to get torn apart.
So, okay. So now that everyone knows I haven't seen this yet. How long? Because Ian Whiffin was on the bulk of the day.
I don't know. Did she get about an hour and a half?
I was about to say, I think it was only
Not
like
much.
an hour.
Well, to the folks in the chat that watched, does anybody want to tell Boozy what time she actually made it onto the stand? Let's see if our chat wants to tell you what time she started on the stand.
Wait, what? What?
Yeah.
You're fucking joking.
You can't make this up. You can't make this up. Hoss Long. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
if listen, something similar happened with like Kerry too, and like this omen, this like kind of stuff. Like that means something. That is wild. Oh,
Oh, I like that one. Wait a minute. I like this one for Helena and a little LOL. Oh, way to go. Oh,
above.
sorry.
That's
I know,
up.
but I couldn't move fast enough.
Wow.
There you go, Jeff Williams.
And then they ended at
That was
4.
for Helena.
It was on probably for a little bit over an hour.
Okay, so yeah, the court ended 4. I was on my motorcycle. I was on 95 watching it on my way home. I wasn't watching it. I was listening to it. I had it going through my speakers.
Debbie who likes to end on time. She likes to have her breaks at certain
All right,
times.
so we'll watch it, and there was a couple sidebars. I think there was maybe one or two sidebars. So we'll I think there was maybe there was Whiffin because he had so many sidebars to begin with. So yeah, we can let's start. Let's start at the waterfall, right? Let me.
So we start. So hold on. So everything before this is just background.
Yeah, just background. Yeah.
Nothing else.
No, nothing.
They didn't get into how she knew John. Nothing.
Waterfall.
Just. Did they talk about the basketball game?
Yeah.
Oh.
Why? Do you want me to back up a little bit just in case?
Well, I kind of like.
All right. We'll back up a little bit.
Just a little.
Yeah. No.
It
It wasn't.
Along the background then. Okay.
No, it wasn't a long background. Here we go.
I can't believe she looks so different. Holy shit.
Are we ready?
She's got fucking eyelashes. This is wild. This shit's wild.
Most people have eyelashes.
No, we're talking like contour and stuff. Like this is just so bizarre to me. Like,
all right, here we go.
Right.
For McCabe, MCCABE.
Ms. McCabe, how old are you?
I am 49 years old.
Are you married?
Yes, I am married with 4 daughters.
Without detailing your children's names, can you tell us a little bit about your family?
Sure. I have 4 daughters that are 16, 17, 19, and 21.
What? I did.
What do you mean without mentioning their names? This is exactly what I mean. They have watched everything without mentioning their names. You named their names during trial 1. You literally had one of them testify for trial 1, and then you brought another one to court with you.
You will notice that in this trial, a lot of things get compressed and glossed over compared to the last trial. They just roll through some things.
Well, because on cross, the important things will be, hounded on.
Yeah, he's trying to hurry through. He's trying to hurry through.
Wow.
Yep. Here we go.
Okay.
And 2 are in high school and 2 are in college.
In raising your children, was your family active in local sports?
Yes, all 4 of my daughters played multiple sports from when they were young. 2 now are playing in college. My husband and I both coached them. My husband coached them from when they were young up through 8th grade in soccer, and I coached them in basketball.
You see how she's already looking at the jury. She's looked at the jury a couple times already now.
Well, it's the same thing with Kerry. Kerry actually physically turned her body towards the jury.
Oh, I will tell you, she cries once, but I won't say when.
Oh, God, okay.
Without telling me your address, what town are you from?
I'm from Canton.
It's all over the
How long have you
report.
lived in Canton with your family for?
Are you fucking kidding me? It's all over the reports.
Yeah.
Really? It's public information. Not only that, earlier in the day when they were questioning Whiffin on a report,
He said their address.
No, her phone number, unredacted, her and Karen.
Oh, I saw that. I know. I I saw that.
Oh my God.
There was a couple times they put stuff up on the screen that were unredacted. I'm like, wow, I don't think that should be up there.
Oh my God.
Let's go on.
I was born and raised in Canton, and now I'm raising my family there.
So your
Yeah,
family,
for
their whole life, you've raised
For
them
now.
in Canton?
1 year we lived in Stoughton with my daughter.
Who do you live with now?
I live with my husband and my 4 daughters.
Can you briefly give me a little bit more background on your children's school and your participation in interaction with your children, raising them?
Yeah.
All right. Can we move through that and get right to the bar? Can we get to the bar? Oh, do you want to hear about the raising kids?
Why
That's
don't you
fine.
put it on 1.5?
Okay, we could do that.
Yeah, make it fast.
I do hate that, but I'll do it.
Just for this.
Okay, hold on.
I'm so demanding. Sorry, chat.
That's all right. Sorry, guys. Here we go.
Yeah, so I was a teacher, and then once I had children, I stayed at home with them and basically was just kind of like your typical, I don't know, small town mom. I was the room parent. I coached them.
Small town mom.
Objection.
She didn't say stay at home mom. Oh,
I'll allow it. When we
that means Jackson's going to be crossing her.
When I coached, I drove the kids back and forth on my team, would take them places, etc.
In the growth of your family and raising your children, at some point did you meet a gentleman by the name of John O'Keefe?
Yes,
Share with us meeting John O'Keefe.
sure. When my 3rd daughter was in kindergarten, she became friends with John's niece. And during that kindergarten school year, unfortunately, Kaylee's mother and father both passed away, and John moved in the house and became Mr. Mom.
When John took over guardianship of the children, did you assist in an active role in helping him?
Yes, Kaylee and my daughter were very close, so
Did they have John's? Oh, she had John's phone number from before, right? She didn't have Karen's number. She had John's number.
I'm still stuck on Mr. Mom.
But she had John's number. She didn't have Karen's number. Okay.
Right.
she would come over and play. My daughter would go over there. Kaylee would come and have sleepovers. A lot of times it would be on Friday nights. I would have Kaylee, and then another individual would have Patrick.
Had you known John O'Keefe well before he took over guardianship of the children?
No.
During the time when he was the guardian of the children, did your relationship, not just with his niece and nephew, but with him, grow any closer?
Yes, we became very good friends.
How close of friends did you become over the years?
Well, throughout the years, obviously, when they were younger, we talked more, just about the logistics of CCD, pickup, drop off, basketball, sports. But then he would also call me, about, as the girls got older, the girl drama or, the hormones and things like that. He would also come over, and hang out and have a beer and, just talk about whatever was new in his life or going on, or, just the day in and day out struggles of his, life and raising the kids now and figuring it all out with, work and family and all that.
Leading
He sounds like a very good friend. Right?
Yeah.
That she was really close to him. Right?
No.
Well, no, that's what it sounds like. It sounds that, she was close to them.
Not to me. It just sounds like she was the same thing as
He'd come
Carrie.
over and have a beer and he'd call me about the kids and their hormones and all this and that. But how come when we saw all the dash cam footage, well, maybe she was in shock. Maybe she doesn't show her emotions like other people show their emotions. But for a very good friend, she seemed very, very calm. That's just my thinking.
No. I have preconceived notions. I think she was never friends with him, really.
Oh, the show was great. Thanks, guys. Oh, hey, Boston Brandy, how's it going?
Hi, Brandy.
I want to say thank you for getting that coverage at lunchtime last Tuesday. You redeemed yourself.
You saved the day.
You saved the day.
Mm-hmm.
Mizzy, hello. Yeah, because there you go. Because he wasn't family.
Right.
Maybe that's what it is.
Hi,
Yeah.
Mizzy.
All right, let's go back.
into January 28th of 2022, so the jury understands, how close was your friendship with John O'Keefe at that time?
He was a very good friend of mine that I knew I could call for anything.
Told you.
I want you to take us forward to January 28th, 2022. Do you remember that day?
Yes, I do.
Do you remember it well?
Yes.
Take us to the early morning hours, January 28th, 2022. Did you learn there may be weather or a storm coming?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
We all saw the report that there was going to be a big storm and nor'easter. So we all knew that basically all the Saturday activities were going to be canceled.
That includes sports?
You know what that means. You know what that means in town. Party. Party. Why?
It means it's going to snow as much as the inside, as much as the outside.
It's going to be a party.
Going to
Yes.
snow a lot everywhere.
Yep. Now we can slow this down, please, because this is where we needed the. All right, we got you through the background.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
I don't know what happened there.
You at 34.
Oh, what happened?
Oh, he's a
Oh,
rookie.
shush.
Oh,
That was a fat
man,
finger. It was a fat finger. Calm down.
every time.
Calm down.
Calm down.
My niece for the week, and she was picked up. My oldest was on the hockey team, and she was having a team dinner at the house, so I picked up pizza, got desserts, set it up for them, and then I left with my daughters and my husband,
Here's
Matt,
oh.
and we met.
Pay attention to all of those big lip smacks. Did you just see the one that just a minute ago there?
Of course I did.
Okay. There's going to be a lot of those.
Some of the parents from the high school basketball team at a local pub to grab a bite and a drink before the basketball game because my other daughter played on the high school girls basketball team.
What time was the basketball game set for that night?
I believe it was 6 or 6:30.
Did you and your family go to the game?
Yes, we.
They've lived this night for 3 years. I love how they're like, I think the game was 6:30. You know what time? Like basketball games almost start at the same time all the time. Just like the Canton hockey games. They started at 7. You know, it's like, you know what time the game starts.
Yeah.
It's like,
Well, they
I
usually
think so.
they always start around the same time, anyways.
exactly. Right.
We did.
After the game, what happened?
After the game, I drove my daughter home. My sister, Nicole, sent me a text and said that she was going to be at the Waterfall, and it was my nephew's birthday. He was going to meet up, and did I want to come by for a drink?
What is your nephew's name?
Brian Jr.
It was his birthday that night?
Yes, it was.
When you received a call to meet with friends and family at the Waterfall, do you remember what time that plan was made?
I don't. My sister sent me a text at some point letting me know she was going to be there, so I don't know what time.
After the game and after some time, did you go to the Waterfall to meet your friends and family?
Yes, I did.
Describe very briefly, what's the Waterfall?
It's just a local town bar.
Do you remember about what time you got to the Waterfall?
About 9 o'clock.
When you got there, was there anybody there that you knew?
Yes.
Okay,
Everyone.
Take us inside the Waterfall. When you get there, who do you see?
I walk in and I see Julie.
Oh, wait a minute. Did I miss something? Did she say the activities were canceled? How far back? Susan, how far back? See that?
I didn't hear that.
Rewind it. She says all activities were canceled. We'll wait. I got time to wait. The longer I wait, the more that gives Eric a chance to get home.
And Chris Albert.
For Saturday, all are canceled.
Saturday all were canceled.
2 seconds.
All right, I'll go back 2 seconds.
You can keep going.
Oh, too late. Too late. We're going to keep going in a minute. It's loading. I don't know why it's loading like this. I have nothing else hooked up to my internet.
Also, you mentioned there
Oh,
was
that's why I just have to
a
play.
niece.
Yes, Caitlin.
Is that Brian and Nicole's daughter?
Yes.
You mentioned the name Tristan. What's his relationship to your niece, to Brian Albert's niece?
He's now her fiance.
And was there anybody else I missed?
That's all who was there. I'm not sure if Nick Kolakidis was already in there when I got there or if he arrived
Sorry, people. I don't have a mouse.
right after. and then his wife joined us.
So when you're in the bar and you see your friends, what do you do next?
I immediately just, join them and sit down.
Were you eating, drinking?
I know I ordered a beer. They had appetizers on the table. I'm not sure whether I had any or not.
Were you drinking
Probably
alcohol
not.
that night?
Yes.
As you're spending time with your family, did the night grow?
Yes.
Did you stay?
Did he say, did the night grow? Did the... Boozy. So Boozy is multitasking. I can hear her, but she's off screen right now.
I'm here.
I know. I hear you.
I'm here.
All right. I got to play.
Listen. This
Table,
was
everybody-
What?
Go pause for a second. Look at me with
Yeah.
my fucking fork and my knife. This was so last minute.
It
I had
was.
ordered dinner and it was going delivered right before we went live. So I was like, I have to eat on live. I'm so sorry.
You have dinner delivered?
Yes. I am a millennial.
Mullins made me some taco soup, but I didn't eat it yet.
Ooh.
I know. I love my meat soups.
We're gonna enjoy. I'm gonna have some pasta.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a grand old time.
I just in case I run out of my couple Pricksons, I do have a White Claw. So yeah,
I told you you could have.
in
You
with the
could have.
mood. In with the
You
mood.
also could have done delivery for booze if you really want.
I could have, but I'm not gonna.
You still can right now.
I know. No, we're good. We're good.
Sorry, chat. Sorry, we both have ADHD.
Sorry. This is what we have.
Garlic.
People, it's a small little stall. People, we're having a fun little stall to buy Eric some time to get home. That's all this is.
Oh no, I thought this was for real. Sorry.
No, well, that too. I don't want everybody to think this is how the show really is.
I know. Well,
Was eating, or did you move inside the bar?
We were pretty much right around the table.
Okay. Did anybody you knew join you or join the group at some point?
Yes, a little while later, Brian Albert and Brian Higgins joined us at the Waterfall.
So when you first got there, was Brian Albert already there?
No, he wasn't.
Is that your brother-in-law, Brian Albert?
Yes.
And you said Mr. Higgins. Did you know Mr. Higgins?
I had met him a few times when he was out with Brian.
You had met him a few times before that night?
Yes.
Were you friendly with him?
He was a friend of Brian's.
Was he your friend?
No, he's Brian's friend.
You knew who he was?
Yes.
So when Mr. Albert and Mr. Higgins joined the group later, did they come directly to you, or did they stay somewhere else inside the bar?
No, they came over to our table, I believe.
How long were you in the Waterfall for that night?
Approximately 9 to little around midnight-ish.
About 3 hours?
Yes.
Do you have an estimate how many drinks you had, alcoholic drinks you might have had?
I don't. I don't know. Maybe 2, 3.
In all our tomfoolery, did anyone notice? And I'll have to go back. I'll have to go back. She never said anything about Caitlin being at the bar.
right then,
A couple minutes ago.
I heard Caitlin's name.
Oh, she did. Did she say Tristan's name?
I just heard Caitlin, and then I walked away. Sorry.
I don't think I heard Caitlin and Tristan, but that's something I'm going to have to go back and play.
Throughout the night, were you feeling any effects of the alcohol?
Not that I recall, no.
When the group was together, you mentioned a number of people have joined. Were you joined by other people later?
Yes.
Who were you joined by later?
John O'Keefe and Karen Reed.
And you talked about your relationship with John O'Keefe.
Yes, earlier, yes.
Did you make plans with him, or did he just show up?
I believe he had started the conversation about the night with Chris Albert.
Chris Albert is a different Albert than Brian Albert?
Yes.
Yes,
was
he's
the
the local
relationship
pizza
between them?
guy.
Brian Albert and Chris Albert are brothers.
Was Chris Albert there when Mr. Higgins and Brian Albert arrived?
Yes. Actually, Chris, did I miss him? Because Chris was there with Julie. Did I? I'm not sure if I said that when I was naming everyone at the table. I apologize.
You may have.
Okay.
So when you first got there, he was at the table with your
Yes.
sister?
Yes, he was.
I thought Chris had to work at the bar.
D&E.
Did he? I thought Chris had to work at the bar, and Julie brought him clothes
First
to
of
change
all-
into.
First
Right?
of all, we need to call D&E exactly what it is. It is not a bar. It is a fucking small little
It's
pizza
a pizza
shop.
establishment. I'm sorry. I thought Chris had to work at the pizza shop until 10. If she got there at 9, how was Chris already there?
Yeah, that's what he testified to.
Right? That
Yep.
Julie brought him clothes.
Yep.
How was he there at 9?
And then I remember one of the
I'm
issues.
going to back that up a tiny bit, just a tiny bit, because
John's talking over me again. One of the issues from trial 1 was that he didn't want to go back to the pizza shop because he had just been there.
right.
He didn't want to go back there.
So I'm. Hold on. I got to get my notebook on this one because I got to take notes because after the show, I'm going to go back to trial 1 and find where Chris said he left D&E, what time he left. Let's see what she says again.
Already in there when I got there, or if he arrived right after. And then his wife joined us.
So when you're in the bar and you see your friends, what do you do next?
I immediately just, join them and sit down.
Were you eating, drinking?
I know I ordered a beer. They had appetizers on the table. I'm not sure whether I had any or not.
Were you drinking alcohol that night?
Yes.
As you're spending time with your family, did the night grow?
Yes.
Did you stay at the table where everybody was eating, or did you move inside the bar?
We were pretty much right around the table.
Okay. Did anybody you knew join you or join the group at some point?
Yes, a little while later, Brian Albert and Brian Higgins joined us at the Waterfall.
So when you first got there, was Brian Albert already there?
No, he wasn't.
Is that your brother-in-law, Brian Albert?
Yes.
And you said Mr. Higgins. Did you know Mr. Higgins?
I had met him a few times when he was out with Brian.
You had met him a few times before that night?
Yes.
Were you friendly with him?
He was a friend of Brian's.
Was he your friend?
No, he's Brian's friend.
You knew who he was?
Yes.
So when Mr. Albert and Mr. Higgins joined the group later, did they come directly to you, or did they stay somewhere else inside the bar?
No, they came over to our table, I believe.
How long were you in the Waterfall
believe?
bar that night?
Approximately 9 to
She got there at 9.
around midnight-ish.
About 3 hours?
Yes.
Do you have an estimate how many drinks you had, alcoholic drinks you might have had?
I don't. I don't know. Maybe 2, 3.
Too many to count.
Throughout the night, were
Like,
you feeling any effects of the alcohol?
Not that I recall, no.
liar.
When the group was together, you mentioned a number of people have joined. Were you joined by other people later?
Yes.
Who were you joined by later?
John O'Keefe and Karen Reed.
And you talked about your relationship with John O'Keefe.
Yes, earlier, yes.
Did you make plans with him, or did he just show up?
I believe he had started the conversation about the night with Chris Albert.
Chris Albert is a different Albert than Brian Albert.
Yes.
No.
What's the relationship between them?
Brian Albert and Chris Albert are brothers.
Was Chris Albert there when Mr. Higgins and Brian Albert arrived?
Yes. Actually, Chris, did I miss him? Because Chris was there with Julie. Did I? I'm not sure if I said that when I was naming everyone at the table. I apologize.
You may have.
Okay.
So when you first got there, he was at the table with your
Yes.
sister?
Yes, he was.
All right. When she first got there, Chris was at the table. Mark that one down. What's that? 5 hours,
Well, yeah.
44 minutes in.
Wait, but she did. She
She got there at 9. She got there at 9.
He was there till 10.
Chris was at the pizza shop till 10.
Right.
Well, she just said he was there when she first got there.
That girl's a liar.
She also said that in 3 hours she only had 2 drinks.
Sandoval's a liar. If anyone knows Vanderpump Rules.
When moments before John O'Keefe arrived with the defendant, what was the mood in the group?
Cheerful. Good mood. Everybody was just out having a drink. We all knew the storm was coming tomorrow, and, just a typical average night.
Celebratory?
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
You
Pause
said
for a
you were
second.
going to see Brian Albert.
A typical average Canton housewife night, which typically consists of
Having 2
getting the
drinks.
kids ready, after school, getting the kids ready,
Uh-huh.
have a few drinks before the game, go to the game. You may also be sneaking things into the game, what I've been told. And then all of you fuckers drop off your kids and go get smashed at
And
the
they
local.
go out. Yes, that's typical for Canton.
That
Sorry.
is a typical Canton housewife thing.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, keep going. Typical night.
Typical night.
Hard.
Actually, not only did they drop the kids off, the other kid's driving around town on her own too. She's being Uber Alley. So don't forget that one.
Exactly.
Don't forget Uber Alley, who told everybody in the last trial everything she did for the night, with the exception of bringing Colin to 34 Fairview.
Well, actually, I shall say some of them allow the kids to drink at the house with all of them too.
Yeah, that's the thing. Well, if they're gonna drink, they might as well drink with us and be safe.
Yeah.
Might as well learn how to party like a rock star. Here we go.
Junior, for
Yes.
his birthday. Was Brian Albert Jr. at the Waterfall when you got there?
No, he was not.
Was Brian Albert Jr. there anytime when you were at the Waterfall?
No, he was not.
Without relating a conversation with some other person, did you have an understanding where Brian Albert Jr. was?
He was at home.
Did you historically or typically see Brian Albert Jr., your nephew, on his birthday?
Yeah, typically we always, get together. We try to and do a cake for whoever's birthday it is, and then whatever, aunts or cousins are around come over.
Wait a minute. A cake? In trial one, I thought they all went back to the pizza shop and made a pizza. Right? Mm-hmm. I thought the tradition was pizza, not a cake.
Right.
Now they try to do a cake.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just checking.
When John O'Keefe arrived at the Waterfall with the defendant, do you have a general estimate or guess, not guess, but a general estimate of what time they arrived?
Approximately 11.
When they first arrived, did you see them?
Yes.
Where did you see them coming from?
I saw them walk
The kitchen door.
When they walked in, did you react in any way?
Oh, she jumped
Yes,
up
I
and
was
down.
happy to see them
Why were you happy to see them?
because I loved John and I liked Karen.
No,
So
because you were
you were
about to
happy to
set
see
them
John?
up for some drama, you liar.
She loved John.
No,
And
she
she
was setting-
liked Karen.
She knew exactly what was going to happen. She knew
Boozy.
it was something.
Boozy, take over for 30 seconds. I got to go get a pillow for my butt.
I'm in the middle of a garlic knot.
Well, I just need to get a pillow. I'm sitting on a wooden chair. I'm usually in an office chair. All right? So you're going to have to talk about how much she loved John for about 35 seconds. We weren't prepared for this. This is like, I probably should have done 8. I should have said 8, not 7:30.
Yeah, well, he always has to rush around. So, anyways.
I do.
Anyways, chat. This is ridiculous. Oh my god. Okay, I can't. Is this a similar shirt to Allie?
You go lay down.
Who is he take over for 3 hours? You do not want me taking over for 3 hours. I want to say, hi Rita. Rita's in chat.
Yeah, that guest is never going to come on our show. He's going to be like, these two are so dysfunctional.
No.
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 Okay. Hi, Rita. All right.
He loved John. No, she didn't.
Yeah.
He loved him. She would have
Sorry.
wanted
You were happy to see the defendant?
Yes.
Do you remember your first interaction with either John or the defendant that night inside the Waterfall?
I believe John walked over to where I was, kind of to my end of the table, and then maybe Karen had walked to the other end of the table. But I would assume I probably hugged both of them when I
Well,
saw them.
I'm going to ask you not to assume. If you don't know, that's
Okay.
okay.
That's right. Don't
You
assume.
said that you had known the defendant as well.
Yes.
Do you remember how long she had been dating John O'Keefe
Oh,
up to that point?
house long.
I know I met her in July of 2020.
Had you had a chance to spend time or interact with her over that time before that night at the Waterfall?
Yes, I had.
And share with
But she never got her phone number.
us some of the moments or some of the reasons that you would interact.
The first time I met Karen, John had reached out. We would do pool days with him and his niece and his nephew. So he had told me he was dating a new girl and he wanted to bring her over. He said that she had multiple sclerosis. I also have multiple sclerosis. So he thought that that would be something we could, we would talk and bond over. I said, yeah, great, bring her over.
Jeez.
That doesn't even sound like something a guy would say. Really? Oh, you guys both have MS. Maybe you'll bond over that. What?
I get the crabs. Hey, do you have the crabs? Hey, you guys should hang out. I hope not.
I can't. That doesn't even make sense. This is just her way of getting that, like, little victim of, I'm sick too. See, and
Yeah.
I can kill anyone.
Hey, I'm double jointed. Do you want to hang out with other double jointed people?
Elbow. I am too.
Over. So her and John and Kaylee and Patrick came over. We had a pool day. I liked Miss Reed immediately. I thought we hit it off. It was really great, talking to someone my age that also had MS, because a lot
she's
of
not your
I
age.
didn't really know a lot of people who have
You're going to
it.
be 50.
So it was really nice to have somebody to relate to.
Karen's only 44.
Then moving forward, we would see them, if it was my daughter's birthday party, when it was time for pickup, they would come in, have a couple drinks. Same thing for like a Halloween party.
Did you hear that? When it was time to pick up the kids, they would come in and have a couple drinks.
I told you. I told you. I haven't watched this yet, anyone. Like, I told you. This is what they do.
When it was time to pick up the kids, they'd come in and have a couple drinks.
I can't.
Yep.
I can't.
Uh-huh.
Told you.
It gets better. It does. It gets better.
What do you mean it gets better?
After basketball games.
So you spend time both with John and Miss Reed?
Yes.
Did you spend time with the defendant separately without John around?
No.
Did you become friendly with her?
Yes.
And were you friendly that night?
Yes.
After John and the defendant enter the bar and you greet, did you interact or spend time with Miss Reed at the Waterfall?
Yes, I did.
And speaking of defendant, do you recognize her here in the courtroom?
Yes, I do.
Could you kindly point to her and describe an article of clothing she's wearing?
She's sitting right over there with a black shirt or blue.
Is she
What kind of
between
voice
Attorney
was
Jackson
that?
and Attorney United?
Yes, she is.
You hear that? Did you
was
see it?
that?
She didn't want to say it. We'll back that up a little bit.
Did you see her
back.
whole body language? Her
Everything
voice?
changed. Everything changed right there. 5:40. Here we go.
Oh
Ready?
my
I know.
God.
I know. Watch. Here we go.
Anytime when you were at the Waterfall,
No, he was not.
without relating a conversation with some other person, did you have an understanding where Brian Albert Jr. was?
He was at home.
Oh shit! How far back did I go?
Did you
4 minutes.
historically or
Jesus
typically
Christ.
see Brian Albert Jr., your nephew, on it?
Sorry, I went back instead of 4 seconds, 4 minutes. So 40.
Sitting right over there with a black
right
shirt.
there. So, come on.
That's the most bizarre thing. Like, sit over there.
Yes.
Here it is.
Yes.
After John and the defendant enter the bar and you greet, did you interact or spend time with Miss Reed at the Waterfall?
Yes, I did.
And speaking of the defendant, do you recognize her here in the courtroom?
Yes, I do.
Could you kindly point to her and describe an article of clothing she's wearing?
She's sitting right over there with a black shirt or blue.
Is she
See how
between
quickly she
Attorney
had to look
Jackson
away,
and
too?
Attorney Yannetti?
Yes, she is.
Oh, huh?
What?
Oh.
You conniving little.
Let's go back.
Can you get a pause face on that?
I can. I can try. Here we go. Let's try.
Yes.
You know,
Here we go.
After John
Here we go.
and the defendant enter the bar and you greet, did you interact or spend time with Miss Reed at the Waterfall?
Yes, I did.
And speaking of the defendant, do you recognize her here in the courtroom?
I can. I will try.
Yes, I do.
Could you kindly point to her and
Get ready. Here we go.
describe an article of clothing she's wearing?
She's sitting right over there with a black
Not this
shirt
one.
or blue.
Is she between
comes.
Attorney Jackson and Attorney
That one. Wait a minute. There's more.
there's more.
Yannetti?
Yes, she is.
Hold on.
See? Oh. Oh.
Oh,
What?
look at that. Look at that. Let's play it again.
Is she between Attorney Jackson and Attorney Yannetti?
Yes, she is.
When you were at
What?
the waterfall
Are
that
you
night, do you
freaking-
remember who you were
Are you
speaking
positive?
to? Or
First of all, John, do you have a keyboard in front? I was about to say, you got a keyboard in front of you because you can
Yeah.
go. Okay.
I just
That's-
did it.
Okay.
Here we
it's a little
go.
bit for you because
is
chat's
she
trying to help
between
you out.
Attorney
and I get it,
Jackson and
but-
Attorney Yannetti?
There it is again. There it is again. I saw it in the chat. So, haha.
Yes, she is.
Okay, and let me set this up for a second. So for those of you that don't watch Emily D. Baker, she helped me understand this too. The way that this has been, thank God I do
I'm
not
here. Shush.
I don't have a garlic knot in my mouth right now. The way that they have been talking about
clipping
Jen
that.
McCabe, the way that they have been talking about Jen McCabe so much that now the jury has been wondering who is Jen McCabe. Like this has been. Do you guys like this? She has been spoken about so much, and the jury doesn't know who she is. So now that she's finally on the stand, they're really going to be looking into her and listening to her and being like intent, with intention, watching her. So if she's going to be giving people dirty looks and saying things like this, if you don't think the jury's going to catch on to shit like that, they're going to see that kind of look and be like, wait, what the hell is going on here? Why is she all of a sudden?
Wait a minute. I'm getting a text. It says, that was not a dirty look. It's the way I was sitting and I couldn't see her.
Who said that?
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Jen. Wasn't a dirty look. I couldn't see her from where I was sitting.
No, that was a dirty look. I went to high school too. I understand what mean girls do, and that was absolutely like a kind of a thing. Like,
Yep.
I was about to
And-
say,
See, someone else got the joke.
that's not
Oh, you didn't see what I was doing. Sorry. I was holding my phone up going, it was not a dirty look. I couldn't see her from.
no, but you got my reaction straight up front. I was like, excuse me? I was like, what?
Yeah.
It's not funny.
let's-
Chat is dying, and I'm like,
Oh, I
you
know. Let's go on.
when you were at the waterfall that night, do you remember who you were speaking to or where you were spending your time?
As to earlier in the night or after?
I'm sorry, after Mr. O'Keefe and the defendant arrived.
Yes, Miss Reed
your lip.
came over and spoke to me because I had seen her the Saturday before, and she had told me how she had started a new medication, and it was giving her some awful side effects. And I said, I'm shocked they put you on that, etc.
Let me not ask you about conversations you
Okay.
had, but about the moment that you were in. Did you spend time with Miss Reed that night?
Yes, I did.
Inevitably, did you drink more alcohol as the night went on?
I believe I had, like I said earlier, a couple of drinks, 2, 3, not sure.
yeah, just
Did
a
you ever
couple.
have a shot of alcohol?
I do not believe
No,
I
she was
had the
probably in
shot
the
now.
bathroom at
Did you
that
see
point.
the party, the group of friends and family doing a shot?
I was in the bathroom and walked out, and they were doing or had just done a shot.
With the court's permission, I'd like to display parts of Exhibit 22, which has already been introduced into evidence, which is video surveillance footage from the waterfall.
Okay. Oh, I can't wait for this.
Just
I'd
going
like to
big
start
screen on this one.
at 10:54:20, please.
Yeah.
I knew they were going to focus on this more. I can't wait for the
If you could
cross
just
of
stop
this.
for 1 second. Do you recognize what's in that video?
Yes.
And what is that?
That is the waterfall.
Okay, kindly proceed.
Oh, I like this. Can you zoom up to the top? No. Okay.
Hit the like button, everybody.
Stop.
I know.
Please?
Like us.
Do you see the two people entering from the left?
I do.
No, I
Do you know
can't.
who they are?
Oh, yeah.
I
right
believe
there.
that is Miss Reed and John O'Keefe.
Ms. Gilman, is there any way to enlarge the top of the video where the other people are closer to the table or bar? No.
No. You would have
Looking at the
thought.
video, can you tell? or-
You would have thought he would have had that all planned out,
Right?
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 That totally seems like, listen, we're going to go through this. We're going to pull this up. We're going to zoom in on here. Oh, wait a minute. We can't zoom in on here. I know. I don't remember that video being blurred from last time.
What time is this at?
10:54. So now I'm going to look back at last year's 10:54 footage to see if it looks the same, because it doesn't look, because I had some really good footage from last year.
It might also be where it's paused, but I can
No,
see
it's blurry the whole time. I'll play it again.
it is.
Watch.
Identify anybody under that timestamp, and if you
Because
can't,
remember,
that's
you
okay,
could
but
see the
you can
people from the
tell us what you
band.
see.
Unless it's a different camera, but
I think the guy right there, well, where she just is Brian Higgins.
Okay, if you could go up a little bit, Ms. Gilman.
yeah.
I believe that's my husband, Matt, and
the
then
right?
on the right, and I think that's me on the left.
Okay, and if you can go down the table to the left, Ms. Gilman. You recognize who that might be from the clothing?
I'd have to take a guess that
Okay,
it
Don't
could,
guess.
Don't guess. It's
Okay.
okay if you don't. Anybody else at the table more to the left do you recognize?
not from this picture.
Not
Gilman,
from
can you
me.
highlight where Miss McCabe thinks that she is on that video with that circle you just had, and play the video.
Oh my God.
She's doing that nose thing again.
I know.
If you could stop. Is that you clapping, Miss McCabe?
Yes, it is,
Why are you clapping?
because I was happy to see them.
Both
No,
of them.
because drama's about to
Yes.
start.
Okay. Could you continue, please?
Call it like it is.
Can you hear her sniffling already?
Yes, it's so annoying. Like,
And who's that person walking right to left hugging people?
That is John O'Keefe.
oh, you're gonna cry?
Yes.
Oh, you better
Continue,
fucking
please,
not.
Ms. Gilman?
Oh. You wouldn't cry over this. This doesn't make sense. He has watched this video so many times. That wouldn't make sense. If she was talking about John O'Keefe in the way that it was, that makes sense. Not this.
The waterfall video from last year was fine.
Are you interacting with anybody?
I can't see where I am.
Okay. If you could stop the video, please.
They did.
Could you move ahead to 11:26:50, please? 11:26:50.
Once
Is that
again, you
your
would have
good still at
thought.
the waterfall?
Why is it so far
Yes,
down?
it is.
Once again, you would have thought that she would have had a list on a piece of paper that said 11:59, whatever it is. Like, I'm going to ask you for this. I'm going to ask you for this. So she knows what's coming next, what's coming next, what's coming next. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why it's cutting off the top right now. It shouldn't.
But here's the thing. She does not care about any of this. At the end of the day, she only cares about her reputation. That's the reason why she showed up the way that she looks. She does not care about anything else. That's it.
They also raised the height of the video because you used to be able to see the full bar. Yeah, you used to see them roughhousing and playing grab ass. And
I think this is actually just the court feed. It's not the actual video. It's the court feed and the cameraman not doing what they're supposed to be doing.
and you barely see the timestamp. So you're right. So they
the
haven't
court.
zoomed in on everything, because there was stuff above the timestamp that you used to be able to see.
Right.
Yeah, we'll have to go to a different TV station.
No, it's all the same feed, John. It wouldn't matter what station you're on.
If you could stop
Oh, it's
there,
only
Ms.
one
Gilman.
cameraman.
Yeah.
If we could hone in or circle.
Hone in.
Where you were previously, where we saw.
Can you
Ms.
hone
McCabe.
in on that? See what I mean?
I know it's a
You
bit
can't even see
blurry.
the circle.
If you can, and if you can't, please let me know. Can you see whether you're in that area?
I believe I am, yes.
Could you put the circle down just a little bit, Ms. Gilman?
No, it looks better without the circle.
Okay. If you could play from 11:26:50 to 11:27, please. We're a little bit ahead right now.
Oh, good. Nothing really happens in this
Who are you hugging there?
I believe that's Miss Reed.
Thank you. One more, Ms. Gilman. I'm going to ask you to move forward to 1146.
See how it gets better now? See how it all of a sudden gets better?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What's up with that?
Damn straight, law nerds unite.
Oops, sorry, that was me.
Give me all the purple heart in chat.
Hey, Boozy, you know what you
Pause, Ms.
you know what you don't hear
Could you
tonight?
circle in that
What?
same area where Ms.
You don't hear me fumbling around with my microphone.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news.
What, you heard it? I touched
Yeah, and
it one
I
time.
can hear your damn table too.
No, that's my chair. I'm on. I don't have carpets. I have wood floor. I have a shepherd.
Look, I'm
You
getting
know
some
what a
purple heart.
shepherd? You know what a shepherd would do on a carpet?
Look, there are some EDB watchers with us. I love this. Emily D. Baker watchers.
Oh, somebody wants
this.
me to say, "Aw,
Aww.
aw."
No, okay, all right, enough.
Somebody wanted me to say, "Aw."
Enough.
All right, Noodles. Aw.
Once is
McCabe
enough.
was last describing.
Oh,
Can you make anything-
by the way, before we continue, everybody, do you know what today is?
Uh-oh.
Everybody, today is Boozy Beauty's birthday. So in the chat, can we get a bunch of happy birthdays to Boozy Beauty, please?
We get a hot twa.
Hey, who was the first one to wish you a happy birthday on your birthday?
Oh my God, do you want to brag about it or do you want to brag about it?
Not me.
It was
Right
Detective
there. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Mullins was the first one.
Right at midnight.
Right at midnight.
Right at midnight. Yeah. I
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. That's really kind.
I didn't have my script. Otherwise, that would have been right at the beginning. I would have let off with that. Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Dance party. Yeah, like they're about to have on here. There you go.
Dance. Oh yeah, I like to
You know,
dance.
this
We're
video?
gonna go karaoke.
Yeah.
Yes, it looks like they're all, toasting or doing
We
a
got to fast forward.
cheer
through this,
before
yeah.
they do a shot.
Can you see
Oh,
whether or
the
not
shot.
the defendant's in that part of the video?
Yes, it looks like she is in front of the man in the plaid coat.
Were you participating with the drinking at this moment?
I don't see myself in the video. I don't believe I was.
But you were drinking separately that night, weren't you?
Yes, I was drinking beer.
You can continue, please.
We'll speed this up a little bit.
Thank you. Shortly after the shot, was there conversation about leaving the waterfall as a group?
Yes, there was.
Was there any discussion about where the group should go?
At first, Miss Reed was asking if we could go up the street to D&E.
What's D&E?
D&E is a sub shop that's owned by Chris Albert.
Was it open that late at night?
No, it wasn't.
Had you in the past gone to that pizza shop after hours to eat?
Yes, we had.
And tell us what the defendant was saying?
She just
Have you ever gone to that pizza shop after hours to eat? Typical night. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder why. Because I want drunk pizza.
Yeah.
kept asking, can we go up to D&E? Can we go up to D&E? She wanted just to go up and, Chris makes food and then we were going to go all, she wanted us all just to go up there and eat and hang out.
That wasn't an uncommon occurrence for the group to sometimes go to that pizza shop after hours, was it?
Nope.
Did the group decide to go to the pizza shop?
They decided they weren't going to go.
Was there a different plan made?
Before Brian Albert left, he said to the group, hey, we're going to go back home and have a beer with Brian Jr. If anyone wants to come by.
For a nightcap.
When you received the invitation to the group to go back to Brian Albert's house, did you decide whether you're going to go home or go back to your sister's house?
Yes, I decided I was going to go to my sister's house.
Without saying what was said, was there any discussion in the group among the participants about going back to your sister or Brian Albert's house?
Everybody seemed to want to go back.
Did anybody object to going back?
No.
Had you been to your sister's house before?
Yes.
Many times?
Yes.
Do you know the address of where your sister lived?
Yes.
And so after that conversation, did you stay at the waterfall for a little bit, or did you leave immediately?
Probably left after maybe 5-10 minutes.
Without saying what was said, before you left, did you have a chance to speak to John O'Keefe?
I did, yes.
You spoke to him inside the waterfall?
Yes.
Did you have a chance to speak to the defendant?
Yes.
And was your plan to go back to your sister's house?
Yes.
Now we can slow it back down. We don't need it. This is where I really liked from here on in.
Yes.
Before you left, did you have any understanding whether or not Mr. O'Keefe and the defendant were going to join you?
Hold on. Do you have another understanding regarding that?
Yes.
And what was your understanding?
They were they were coming.
Who else was going to go back to your nephew and your sister's house?
Brian Higgins and my niece Caitlin.
A little after 12, did you leave the waterfall?
Yes.
Do you remember that night leaving?
Yes.
Before you left, did you talk to anybody in particular?
Yes. Miss Reed and then Mr. O'Keefe.
Did you speak to them inside the waterfall?
I walked out with Miss Reed and we spoke at the doorway, and then John joined us.
Did you invite Ms. Reed to come with you?
I did, yes.
Did she decline?
Yes.
And who did you go to your sister's house with? Who drove?
I drove and I went with my husband, Matt.
Anybody else?
No.
Sure about that?
Do you remember what time it was that you were speaking to Ms. Reed about?
Are you sure about
your
that?
sister's house?
About that?
After mid.
Wait a minute. What was it? 5, 10. Say that one more time.
Oh no, now it's gonna freeze.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It won't. Calm down. Hold on. Just gotta hit play. I think. No, hold on. I'll shut that off. Why? This is where what's your name says, talk amongst yourselves.
Who?
Right. Let's go back 5 more. Let's see what happens.
Oh, you froze.
I know why.
You know what? You're as frozen as Jen's forehead is now.
That's it. There we go. Got it.
And who did you go
Sid?
to your sister's house with? Who drove?
I drove and I went with my husband, Matt.
Anybody else?
No.
Do you remember what time it was that you were speaking to Miss Reed about going to your sister's house?
After midnight.
If I could have Exhibit 22 again, Ms. Gilman, if you could take us to 12:10:36.
Remember what time Chris left the bar? Right?
With them, didn't he?
But mind you, okay, people just walked out, right? You just saw people walk out, and there's Chris. There's Chris right there. We know he's still at the bar.
Okay.
It's 12:10. Allie, according to Uber, Allie is picking up Colin right now to bring him home, if that's what she did. And if so, Colin should be home before Chris gets home because Chris is still at the bar.
If you could stop it there, please. Did you have a chance to talk to Mr. O'Keefe and the defendant outside of the waterfall?
Yes.
And do you know specifically what time you left the waterfall?
It was after midnight.
After, okay. When you left the waterfall with your husband, you said you were driving. Did you stop anywhere along the way before you got to your sister's house?
No.
Tell us what you see when you get to your sister's house. What are the weather conditions like as you're driving there?
It's starting to snow to the point where it's starting to like accumulate. It's on your car. It's just, getting on the street.
Is it light? Is it heavy?
It's light at this point.
It wasn't on the street from the library footage. It was barely on the grass.
Yeah.
How long does it take to get from the waterfall to your sister's house?
5 to 8 minutes, depending on lights and weather, etc.
When you first get to your sister's house.
5 to 8 minutes from the waterfall. Mind you, Maple Street is closer to Fairview than the waterfall.
Well, and also too, if you want to bring that into another piece of evidence, if it takes 5 to 8 minutes from the Waterfall, Canton Center, to get to 34 Fairview Road, how the fuck are they trying to say Karen Reed got from 34 Fairview Road to 1 Meadows Ave in less than 4 minutes?
Exactly.
Because they didn't.
Right. There's no way she did it in 4 minutes.
No.
It's 6 to 8.
She also didn't know where she was going.
Right. So you're looking at 7 minutes. 7 minutes. But whatever. They want to. It's her testimony, not mine. I'm armchair quarterback.
While you're still in the car, describe what you see.
My wipers are on. I'm just looking out the window, and it's snowing. It's dark.
Anybody in the driveway? Any cars in the driveway that you see?
Oh, when I pull up to my sister's?
Yes.
As I pull down the street, I take a left into the driveway.
Buzzing for truth. I literally cut that little piece that you're talking about. That's going to be that'll be up tomorrow. Believe it or not. Yeah. With the husband was so happy that she was going out looking,
Well,
and he was
especially
staying home.
because John was with Kurt earlier in the night.
Correct.
John was with Carrie Roberts' husband. So why
Yep.
wouldn't he want to go out?
Right.
Way, and there is a Jeep that's parked on the street, and
A
there's
Jeep
maybe
that's parked
couple
on the
cars in my
street.
sister's driveway.
That's the first. There's your
What do you do when you
first
arrive at your sister's
Jeep
house?
parked on the
I go in the
street.
house.
Now there are
Right? She offered that up right away.
I can't even believe they're still sticking to this. I can't believe it.
I don't care that it takes 10 seconds to reboot the 5 seconds that I want to get her saying there's a Jeep on the street. There was never a Jeep on the street in trial 1. Right? All we had is he was doing a sweep of the driveway in trial 1, and that was by Brian Albert and Coco. They never mentioned a Jeep on the street when they pulled up the first time.
But just logistically wise, it doesn't make sense anyways
Right?
to have Higgy there.
And there's maybe a couple of cars in my sister's driveway.
Couple
What do you
cars.
do when you arrive at your sister's house?
Couple
I go
cars.
in the house.
Now there are a couple doors at your sister's house.
Yes.
Is there a front door?
Yes.
Is there a side door?
Yes.
Which one's closer to the driveway?
The side door.
Which door do you go in when you get to your sister's house?
The front door.
Was anybody with you when you went in?
My husband, Matt.
You walked in together?
Yes.
Tell us the first person you remember meeting.
When I went in the house?
Yes.
Probably
No,
my
like-
niece was at the table, and then I saw my nephew, Brian.
Was there anybody else you saw at the table?
Julie Nagel and Sarah Levinson.
So when you walk in the front door of the house, is it what table? Is this a living room table, a kitchen table?
Oh, you walk in and then you go to the right and it's into the kitchen and there's a table there.
Is the kitchen separate from the living room or is it open?
It's open, but they're separate.
Can you see the kitchen
the
table
fuck does
when you
that
walk in
mean?
the door if you turn and look right?
Yes.
And when you go into the kitchen,
What does what mean?
It's open, but it's separate. No, it's either open or separate. What? It can't be both.
Well, it's open, but it's separate. It's its own room, kind of.
No, listen. I've gone through that Zillow listing enough. You know, trust me. Richie Microdots has a great video about this. I've watched that video enough. I get it, but her testimony doesn't make sense. It's open, but it's separate. It's both. Okay,
Yeah.
sure, Jen.
It's open, but it's separate.
Sure. It's open in a closed way.
That's going up. There you go. See, I love the chat. We got the best chat. We really do. Oh, you know, I don't even. I'll be good.
Be
and
good.
you said there was a woman by the name of Julie Nagel
Yes.
and then another woman, Sarah.
Yes.
You know her last name?
Levinson.
Okay. Julie Nagel, did you know her when you walked in the house that night?
I had met her a few times.
Had you spent time with her? Were you friends with her?
No, I just had met her a few times, and she had watched my dog for me when my nephew couldn't.
When you would go away, would your nephew?
Remember in the last trial, Matt came in and says, Julie was happy to see us. In this trial, they barely know Julie. And I pulled that from the last trial, too. He said, oh, we walked in, Julie was happy to see us. If she doesn't know you, why is she happy to see you?
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
You would be responsible to watch your dog?
Yes,
Did you understand that Julie Nagle had watched your dog a couple of times?
yes.
Had you ever socialized with her before that night?
No, I may have seen her at a graduation party, but never.
Then why was she
beyond
so
that.
happy to see
Were
you?
you friends with her at that point?
No.
No.
Friendly enough that she watched your dogs?
Yes, through my nephew. He just said my friend's going to do it, and I
I see.
trusted his judgment.
And there was another woman by the name of Sarah. Did you know her before you saw her that night?
I knew of her. If I were to see her, I'd say hi, but that's the extent of it.
How did you know of her?
But we offered them a ride home the minute we walked in. Hey, girls, if you guys want to ride home, we'll give you a ride home. Because remember in trial 1, they offered her a ride home before she went out to meet her brother to tell her brother, do you want to come inside? I don't want to go home with you. I already have a ride. Well, she actually didn't say that. She says, well, I guess I'll have to find another ride. But we already know from Jen and Matt, they offered a ride the minute they got there. To strangers, immediately.
Just from being in the town, going to different sporting activities, and just being around.
You said your nephew Brian was there as well in the kitchen?
Yes,
This was his birthday?
yes.
How old was he?
I think he was turning 23.
Was there anybody else in the house when you and your husband first got there?
Yes, my sister and Brian Albert and Brian Higgins.
So Mr. Higgins, Brian Albert, and your sister were there before you.
Yes.
Where was everybody when you first came in?
My niece Caitlin, Sarah Levinson, Julie Nagel, and Brian Jr. were all at the kitchen table. My sister was over, I think, cleaning the counters, and Brian were off in that TV room that you can see from the kitchen because there's a wide opening.
Okay, that's different. All last year, Brian and Brian were leaning against the island in front of the kitchen. They weren't in the other room.
And wasn't there
That's where are we? What's this time? I got to look this time up because. Hold on,
more
keep going.
than were at the table not the table, the island.
05.
He definitely testified that there was other people at that island because I remember being like, that doesn't make sense.
Nope. Brian Jr. was at one side of the table, nearest the windows, with Sarah Levinson,
We had this
Two-
long conversation about the curtains.
because the two of them were able to see outside.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah Levinson had her back to the wall that was closest to the room that goes out to the breezeway.
The TV room. Yep.
Brian and Brian were by the kitchen island. They weren't in the TV room.
Right.
And Jen and Matt were sitting because Matt says he was seated. Remember?
Yep.
He was seated. And Jen said, Brian looked out the window, said there was a car, so I got up and went to the front door. It's amazing. I know their testimony forwards and backwards in my head. I don't even have to look this stuff up. Here we go, because this is where it gets fun.
If you walk in the front door, would I look left or right to see the TV room?
You look right to the kitchen, and then through the kitchen's the TV room, but you could look, and when you walk in, you can see because it's open.
Is the TV room in any way have a relationship with that side door?
Yes, it does.
If you were to walk in the side door, would you be walking into the TV room?
Yes.
When you saw your nephew Brian Jr. and his friends, are his friends about the same age as him?
Yes.
Were they drinking?
Yes.
Was there music?
Yes.
And when
yes,
you went
there
in,
was.
did you
Yes,
spend
there
time
was.
with the group?
Yes, I sat right down and started talking to them.
And when you were speaking to them, did you have any drinks that night?
I believe they brought me over a White Claw, but I didn't have more than a sip of it. I really wasn't. It was at that point where I just didn't want another drink.
I got
As
peach.
you were in the kitchen, were you expecting anybody else?
We had mentioned it to Karen and John, and I had actually just spoken to John, so I was expecting them.
So when you saw John O'Keefe in the Waterfall, that wasn't the last time you spoke to him.
No.
You had spoken to him.
No.
Was it on the ride to your nieces? I mean, to your sisters?
Yes.
Did you call him or did he call you?
He texted me and I believe asked something like, where to? And since I was driving, I called him.
When you called him, what did you tell him? What did you guys say?
I just said they live 34 Fairview Road off of Chapman.
Do you know
Wait,
if John
can
O'Keefe
you
had ever
pause for a
been
second?
to
Yep.
the Albert home before?
I don't believe.
She didn't mention anything about wanting Karen to go with her or wanting to separate the girls and the guys. Like there was none of that conversation after the bar now.
I
None of-
told you they speed through this.
that's all gone now.
It's all they speed right through that testimony of like, we got a surprise for you. That never came up.
Well, that's what I mean. I'm like, because
Yeah.
I remember this being a big deal. Like she wanted Karen away from the boys. They wanted
Yep.
to separate the boys and the girls.
They already got him out of the bar. They never showed any of the Higgins. They never showed any of the grab ass. They didn't show. They haven't showed any of this. They are speeding through this.
Well, because I remember she definitely testified about like being like, "Oh, Karen's gonna come with me,"
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that being like.
And
a
she
thing.
was sitting in the truck, and Matt was taking forever because we thought maybe Matt and John were going to be the last two out, but we really know it was Chris. They're speeding through all of the stuff that they don't, because video doesn't show what they really testified to.
Right.
So they're trying to gloss over a lot.
If he had.
In that conversation, how long did that conversation take?
It was quick.
Was there any other conversation that you had with him other than that one conversation?
Yes, he called me back and he was trying to find it,
Trying to find the address?
try to find the house on Fairview.
Did he ask you for help trying to find the address?
He, I'm not sure his exact words, but yes, he needed help. And so I just said, I told him, just go down the street, go by Bella's house. It's at the bottom of the street.
So you used Bella's house as a point of designation to try to guide him to get to your sister's house?
Yes.
Tell us who Bella was to John.
Bella is my daughter and John's niece friend. So
Girl.
they're all, so Bella is friends with my daughter, John's niece.
Okay. And was there
Hold
any
on.
relationship between
Here it is.
Bella's mother and John that you knew of?
Objection. I'll allow it. May we approach?
That
And
is,
they,
first of
and
all,
they won that objection.
great pause face, by the way. Normally it's bad. But for Jen McCabe, that's a great pause face.
Oh, we got to
I
get
mean-
that down. 608.
How many in chat actually agree with this motive? Because this motive, to me, makes no sense. Like, oh, it's the dance teacher that like he had, relations with before. Not even relationship, relations, if you know what I'm going with. It.
It's not the only person in her testimony today that she alludes to John having relations with.
It's
There's
still
going to be another one.
sense for the motive. That literally
Right.
makes zero sense. It wasn't. So listen, if there was a mention from John and Karen in their text messages about Bella's mom or any other women's name, that would make sense. None of this makes sense because there's nothing. They're fighting over the kids and like a plumber. You know, it doesn't
How do
make
you, how do you get to 34 Fairview? Oh, go by Bella's mom's house. You know who Bella's mom is, right? Karen, you know who that is. You know what I mean? Like that's a dig. That's a girl that's trying. You know what I mean? That's someone that's bringing up someone because she knows that there's something there.
she's a shit stirrer. That's all she
That's
is.
exactly what that is.
Can't.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. I like that one. There you go. Oh, let's fast forward through this.
You see how she just fixed her hair too?
Yeah. This was a good one too. This was a little longer.
Was it a celebratory mood?
Yes.
As you were in the house, were you waiting for anybody else that you expected to come?
Yes, I was expecting John and Karen to come.
At some point when you're in the kitchen, or let me ask you a little background. As you're in the kitchen of that house, can you see outside from the kitchen area?
They had blinds or something down, but if the blinds were up, you could see out.
Were the blinds up?
No.
At any point were you able to see outside from inside the house?
From the front door, yes.
Is the front door, is it glass?
Yes.
At some point when you were with everybody in the celebration, did you have a chance to look outside?
Yes.
And when you looked outside, what did you see?
I saw a dark SUV out front.
So she never saw it pull up, like she said in trial 1. When Karen says, "I brought him to he was at the waterfall," right? And she says, "No, we saw you pull up with John," and so didn't Matt said the same thing. They both testified that they saw the car pull up. Neither one saw the car pull up.
Did you know whose SUV that was?
I believed it was Karen's.
Could you see who was in it?
No.
At that point of night, what does the weather look like from the front door?
Okay.
It's dark and it's snowing, and I could see, brake lights.
Did you see if that SUV moved at all?
I didn't see the SUV actually move, but I saw it in a few different locations.
How many?
Remember that she never saw it move.
Wait,
Because
what? Hold on. What?
She says she never saw it move.
She was the main person that kept saying, like, "Oh, it's at the flagpole.
It
It's
moved up. I saw it move up. I saw it move up.
past the flagpole
Right.
to help with the prosecution." And
So remember, she never saw it move.
SUV moved at all?
I didn't see the SUV actually move, but I saw it in a few different locations.
How many times did you look out?
Can't give you an exact number of how many.
She can't give you an exact number because she knows what happened to her in the last trial when she gave a number of how many times she looked out.
what did okay, I'm confused. So if the blinds were down, how did she see the vehicle at all?
He just went right by the hole. Brian said there's a car out front. She got up and went to the front door.
But she just testified that the blinds were down.
I know. Remember Brian peeking through the blinds?
Yeah, but what?
I know.
I'm so
I told you. I know.
She just did.
times I looked out. I can tell you I saw the vehicle first straight out from the front door. Then I saw it up at the flagpole, and then I saw it further up from the flagpole.
So if she can't tell you how many times she looked up, but she just said, "I saw it out front. I saw it by the flagpole. I saw it further up from the flagpole." How many times is that to the door?
That doesn't even make sense.
That's 3. She went to the door. It was out front. She went to the door again. It was up at the flagpole. She went to the door the third time. It was up past the flagpole, right? But then she goes another time, and it's not there.
Were you studying the car at all?
No, it was quick glances.
Did you have any reason to study it?
No.
What were you expecting was going to happen?
I was expecting John and Karen to come into the house.
Did they ever make it in the house?
No, they did not.
As you were waiting, were you doing anything else in addition to waiting for them to come in?
Yes, so I was sitting at the table. Someone made mention of a car out front, so I got up, went to the door, looked out, and then I would go back to the table, and where we were just all laughing, talking, playing music, just hanging out, not really thinking much about anything.
Did
That's
you
not
ever
what
reach out
that's
to
not what her
John?
step data says. That's not what her step data says.
So she's doing this out of order. This should have been a minute ago. I
No,
was
no,
at the
but-
table. Someone said there was a car out front. I went up to the door. I came back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but we have her step data. Her step data does not have her doing all of those up and downs kind of things. She only has one point in time where she gets up, takes a step, and then takes 4 more steps. And that's when John O'Keefe would have been entering the house. She does not do this at all, ever. Ever. Pinky swear, everyone. She doesn't, per her step data.
See that? That's why we have Boozy. Honest to God, I'm not even joking, because we've talked about that whole thing. You looked at the step data, you knew right at the point of time where you said that movement is a step.
It's
Maybe
one-
getting up out of a chair.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I know.
I'm
else you got?
currently
When you
pulling
bought
up
the car
movies.
Out front was the defendant's car with John in it. Did you ever reach out to him?
Yes, I did.
How did you reach out to him?
I texted him.
Do you know if there was a phone call that was made to you before 12:30? A 7-second phone call?
From John?
Yes.
I don't.
You mentioned you had spoken to him about directions. Is that the last time you heard his voice?
Yes.
When the car was out front, did you exchange text messages, or were you simply texting him?
I was texting him.
Do you remember what you were texting him?
The first time I said here,
Look at her
do you
posture
mean
now.
by
Now
here?
she's
Is
starting to
that
lean
like
forward.
hair question mark, because that's when I saw
Hunched
the
over.
car.
You were wondering whether that was him?
Yes.
Did you send any other text
Clenching her
messages that
hands.
you can remember?
After I saw the car move locations, when I saw it go up to the flagpole, I said,
I thought she said she never saw it move. She just said I saw it go up to the flagpole.
I'm wondering where all these steps are, because I'm looking at it. This would have been around what, 12:18, 12:20
Yep.
ish. So at 12:18 to 12:19, it says she took 49 steps. And then 12:20 to 12:21, it says 33 steps. Then John O'Keefe did 80 steps, and then that's when she did 1 step and then
That's
4
it.
steps.
Yeah, the one. Let's see if we can.
Which, by the way, her stride at that point was only 2.33 feet. And then for the 4 steps, it was
Messages that you can
2.46.
remember.
after I saw the car move locations,
After I saw the car move locations. After I saw the car move locations. Who says that?
That was him?
yes,
Did you send any other text messages that you can remember?
after I saw the car move locations, when I saw it go up to the flagpole.
You never saw it go up to the flagpole.
I said, pull behind me.
And do you remember any other communications you had with him? Was he texting you anything?
No,
Did he ever text you again that night?
he never texted me again.
Never called again?
No.
Did you continue to text him over the next 15, 20 minutes?
I did, yes.
And so at some point, did you realize that John O'Keefe and the defendant weren't coming in the house?
Yes, when the car was gone.
Did you ever go outside through the storm down to the flagpole to speak to them?
No.
Why not?
Why would I?
I was just asking.
She's getting a little cross with her own guy.
Wait, what did he ask again?
He goes, "Did you ever go out and go over to the car down by the flagpole?" And she's like, "Why would I?" He goes, "I'm just asking."
Because John O'Keefe is supposed to be one of your good friends.
But here's the thing.
He's
She
coming.
saw it after the flagpole. Gone. She saw it after it was gone. But no John. She didn't see John on the lawn. You would have had to look straight across John to go out past the flagpole way up to where it would have been. And we already know how tiny the yard is.
Yeah, I'm glad more people
No
understand.
reason to.
I
So,
love every
When
single
you were in
time
the
I
house,
try to
at
talk.
some point, did you
play
notice
the
that the
video.
car was gone?
Because you know
Yes.
why? Because I'm not looking at the StreamYard. I'm looking at the other screen.
Can you not hear me though?
But my finger had already hit it's a keypad, not a mouse. So I'm sorry. I apologize. Eric, where the hell are you?
Oh,
Kid.
my God.
Go ahead.
No, I'm done.
No, go ahead.
No,
Go, birthday girl.
no.
All right. I'm going to hit play.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. Last chance.
Were you marking the time or keeping track of it?
No.
After you didn't see the defendant's car anymore, did you stay?
Yes.
After you didn't see the defendant's car anymore, like I said, you would have seen John in the lawn if you didn't see the car.
How long do you think you stayed for at the house?
A couple hours cleaning up. We had a lot
I
of blood to
stayed
clean
till
up.
about, around 1:30.
There's a lot to clean up.
1:45-ish.
Did anybody else come in the house up until 1:45?
No.
Did people leave at certain times?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, people did leave.
Who was the first to leave?
Brian Higgins?
Do you remember about what time he left?
I don't.
And after Mr. Higgins left, do you know who left?
I'm not I believe it was us, and then my niece Caitlin was also like at the door. It was kind of in a row. Brian left, and then a little bit later, I think it was, myself, Matt, Julie, and Sarah left. But Caitlin was at the door. I believe she was waiting for her ride.
Sure
How
she
much
was.
longer after Mr. Higgins left did you leave?
Maybe a half. I honestly can't.
She
say.
almost
I
said a
think
half
he was
hour.
there for a while I was there. So maybe he left anywhere from 15 minutes, approximately 15, 20 minutes before I did, or maybe.
15, 20 minutes before she did. What time did they leave?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Would you ask?
What time did they leave to take the girls home?
Well,
Somebody
she,
in the chat needs to know.
she says 1:45, but I'm over here looking at her step data.
1:45? Is that what time? No, that was Caitlin left at 1:45, right?
Well, per Jen's step data, she has no movement from 1:45 to 1:55. Oh wait, no, I lied. Oh God, wait, hold on. Where is it?
1:47. Somebody's saying 1:47.
Hold on, hold
She
on.
left at 1:30.
Okay. She has no movement from 1:45 to 1:55, and then from 1:57 to 2:13. So that looks like one car ride and then another car ride.
Yeah, not moving.
Yeah,
Sitting there.
because she was
Sitting there, turned around.
Well, she was nonstop moving. If you guys had looked at her data, like she's nonstop from like literally when she got into the house at like 12:17 until this last data point, 1:45. Like she's running around like a mad woman in that house.
Yeah.
She's literally nonstop. And then when she gets home, she's nonstop too. And she's only down for like 40 minutes and then she's up again because she gets the phone call.
This is where she says something stupid again this time.
Maybe a little more.
You mentioned that you had left the waterfall after midnight,
Yes.
and you had phone calls with Mr. O'Keefe along the way.
Yes.
Do you know that there are phone records with your text messages and phone calls in them?
Yes.
And do you know whether your phone records reflect the time of your calls with Mr. O'Keefe
Yes.
and your text messages?
Yes.
When you were texting Mr. O'Keefe, when the Lexus or the car was in front of the house, rather, was Mr. Higgins still there?
Yes.
What are some of the things that everybody did along that night before you
Here it
left?
comes.
What happened in there?
What happened inside the house?
Yeah.
Nothing. We basically just sat around the table, talked, laughed, listened to music, chit-chatted.
Celebratory?
Yes.
Was there ever any fighting,
No, none at all.
any arguing,
None at all.
any physical interaction?
No, none.
When you decided to leave that night, did you say around 1:45-ish?
Yes.
When you left around 1:45, was there any events that happened that night that would
Here it is.
cause you unrest or excitement
No,
or
wait.
your heartbeat to raise?
No.
Oh,
When you decided to leave, you and your husband, where were you going to go?
We were dropping off
it
Julie
is.
Nagel and Sarah Levinson, and then we were going home.
Had you planned on dropping them off earlier in the night?
No, when we got there, Julie's brother had pulled up to pick them up, and
I
we
won't
just.
ask you what was
oh.
said.
You see how he cut her off? Did you hear how he cut her off on that? When we got there, her brother pulled up. You guys would have already been inside the kitchen when he pulled up.
Julie Nagel and Sarah Levinson, and then we were going home.
Had you planned on dropping them off earlier in the night?
No, when we got there, Julie's brother had pulled up to pick them up, and
I
we
won't
just.
ask you what was
oh.
said because you weren't there.
Oh,
but
okay.
She says she was there. He says, I'm not going to ask you what was said because you weren't there. She just said when we got there.
at the same time.
Yes. She fucked up.
She's trying to mess up Karen's time.
She fucked up. She was already in the house when the pickup truck pulled up.
I really, really hope that Ricky and Heather are watching this very closely. We already know how Ryan feels, but I really hope Heather and Ricky are watching this.
Yeah. Oh, I got to go back. Sorry. Here we go. Here it is again.
And then we were going home.
Had you planned on dropping them off earlier in the night?
No, when we got there, Julie's brother had pulled up to pick them up, and
I
we
won't
just.
ask you what was
oh.
said because you weren't there.
Oh,
but
okay.
At some
How
point,
does he know she
you
wasn't there?
Understanding that you would give them a ride home?
Yes.
Did you offer?
Yes.
Who was going to drive home between you and your husband?
Matt drove home.
When you left, I want you to describe as you step out into the driveway or the walkway. Was it the front door or side door, if you remember?
I walked out the front door.
Is the weather like it was when you first got there?
No, it's picked up.
Tell us what you mean by it's picked up.
So as I walk out, you kind of go, the walkway is to the left. So I walk down the steps, I go to the left. The snow was coming, it was cold, the wind was picking up. So I kind of just like curled up and ran to my car quick to get in.
What part of the car did you get into?
Front passenger,
Who was driving?
Matt.
And where were the other two people?
Sarah and Julie were in the back seat.
Who was in which spot?
Who
I'm not
cares?
exactly sure.
So both of the young women
You
were
were
in the
staring
back
at
seat?
them.
Yes.
Was there any conversation?
Wait a minute. So you mean to tell me that she last trial she was turned around because she's a chatty person, talking to the girls and doesn't know which girl is directly behind her and which one's eating the peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
That's what I mean. I'm like, she said the entire time she was looking back.
Right. So you might not know what's in front of you. Now you don't know what's behind you.
Right. So what is it?
They don't know anything anymore.
When you got into the car?
We got in the car and they were teasing me
Why were they teasing you?
because I had like bread and maybe peanut butter in my car.
Why did you have bread and peanut butter in your car?
I had my niece for the week, and I was dragging her like to all my kids' sporting events. So we'd go from like one game to another game to a practice. So sometimes instead of always giving her McDonald's or Dunkin' Donuts, I'd try to throw her a peanut butter sandwich.
And they were making fun of you?
Yeah.
As the car backs out of the driveway, tell us what you're doing.
I'm talking to the girls.
You just moved your head.
Yes.
Does that mean anything?
Yes.
Tell us.
I kind of, they were both sitting behind me. So I was like turning and, chatting and talking.
Then who was behind you?
After your husband pulls out of the driveway,
She doesn't know.
you start to drive home.
That doesn't make any
Yes.
sense.
If the house is on my right and you're driving, are you in the passenger seat closest to the house or furthest away?
Passenger seat closest.
So you're driving, if you look at a picture of the house, you would be driving from right to left?
Yes.
So as you start to drive, or your husband starts to drive the car, what direction are you looking in, if you remember?
The back seat.
Did you drive by the front of the house, do you know?
We pulled out of the driveway and went up Chapman.
Okay. And your husband and you passed by the front of the house?
Yes.
Did you pass by the flagpole?
Yes.
Were you looking at the flagpole?
No.
And how dark was it at that point?
It was dark.
Snow?
You have
Yes.
headlights. You have
If you're
headlights.
passing the flagpole, do you hear or see anything remarkable?
No, I'm not really paying attention. I'm just chatting to the girls, and Matt's just focusing on driving.
When you're talking to the girls and they're making fun of you, what's the mood in the car?
We're all laughing and joking.
Sure you
Where do you go
are.
next?
Bet you know
We
a word
drive
was said.
Julie Nagel home.
After you drop off Miss Nagle, where do you go?
We drop off Sarah Levinson.
Is the weather constant?
Yes.
After you drop off the young woman in separate spots, where do you go?
We went home.
Can you tell us when you get home what happens next?
We go in the house. I go up to bed. Matt makes himself a snack and then joins me upstairs.
Do you have a telephone?
Yes.
An iPhone?
Yes.
When you go to bed, do you stay up at all?
Yes.
Do you use your iPhone?
Yes, I do.
What were you doing?
I texted a few people and then I did a couple of Google searches.
And what were the searches for?
One, my daughter had played in a basketball game earlier in the night, and it was a very good game. So I went and I read the report on it. And then my other daughter had an offer to play on a basketball team. So we had to make a decision about whether or not we were going to accept the spot. So I was just looking up that
They had to make a decision.
basketball club.
Other than those regular searches that one would do, was there anything remarkable about what you were searching at 2:27 that time frame?
No.
After you were looking at websites for your child's sports, what did you do?
I put my phone down and went to sleep.
And up to that point, had there been any discord or fighting or arguments in your world?
No.
Peaceful night?
Yes.
Did you go to sleep, Miss McCabe?
Yes.
Did you sleep through the night?
I typically get
Rude.
So, for everybody asking, okay,
Um,
I have a lot of people texting me saying they're wearing the same shirt. Okay. They might not button the top couple buttons. They might wear the same cross. It's almost the same shirt. It's just a little bit, it's just off a little bit. But yeah, they got the same taste. So there you go. There's your, that was Allie's from last year.
I find it very interesting looking at Jen's data. She, because now that I'm looking like really at it, so the Google search was at 2:27 a.m. And then I know Richard Green has like the exact like down to the seconds, whatever. But literally, she stops moving at 2:22. Wait, 2:20. It's 2:27. Hold on. she's actively like walking around at that time. So she's moving from 2:23 until 2:31. And she's gone like 45 feet, but only 19 steps. So she's like walking around her house.
She's a night walker. She's a night walker.
Like just going like just walking around being like, texting at the same time. It's just bizarre behavior.
She's a night walker.
That's not a night walker. That's bizarre. But it's funny because there's no stair data. So she doesn't go upstairs.
The phone doesn't go upstairs. So the one thing I keep telling people when we talk about the whole case, everybody's acting as if everybody's phone is like attached to these people.
Yeah. Right.
You have to think about it as sometimes, especially with, like the John's phone in the morning when Kerry says she went and picked it up and gave it to a cop and now it's moving around. Phones change hands. How do we know she's got it? She's got the phone with her. It's on the first floor. Or, you never know who's got the phone.
Well, this is weird. Oh, this is really weird. Okay. So there's two sets of data back to back with Jen McCabe. And so one of them is Jen McCabe's Apple Health Watch. And then the one below it is her iPhone. And what I find interesting is that it's pretty much the exact same stride length, the same exact steps, and pretty much the same amount of distance, except there is a little bit, actually, that's a big difference in time change. One of them is less than a minute, and one of them is almost 9 minutes. So the one that is shorter in length is the Apple Health Watch. So technically, I don't know if someone else grabbed her phone from her.
Let's see.
And was walking around.
You don't know.
Because her phone, her watch would be on her, right? So that is what she's doing. I don't know. That we would need like an actual person from Apple to have us try to understand. Like obviously it's proprietary data. So we may not ever find out that correct information when it comes to the difference in data between the watch and the phone. But I find it very interesting that it's the same exact stride length, steps, and distance, but a significant difference in time.
Mm-hmm.
Like a minute versus 9 minutes, essentially. And this is when the whole Google search thing is going down at 2:27 a.m. Because her Apple Health Watch has her stationary at 2:23.
Right.
And then movement doesn't pick up for her watch until 2:32. But her phone is actively moving from 2:23 to 2:31.
How does it work for people that have because the majority of people aren't taking their watch off, right? Or do you take it off and charge it at night?
I don't have a watch, but I feel like it depends on the person. Some people keep their watches on at all times and they only,
take it off to charge it, right?
Charge it or shower.
You tell us this now, JC?
No, I have. Hold on, I have something.
Did you know that one of our viewers, JC from Sacramento? Oh wait, never mind. He's an amateur Apple developer. He's not an Apple developer.
According to Ian Whiffin, something is proprietary. Keep talk amongst yourself, Juan.
Oh no, I'm going through the chats right now. We're just taking a quick little break from Jen because the rest is what I was listening to on the highway.
I haven't heard it.
Guys, how are we doing without Eric? Is this our first show without Eric?
I think so.
Did I do a show without Eric? I don't think we've done a show without Eric. Yes, I did do a show with that. Oh no, that was without Jimmy White when you and Whitey left us. I'm getting used to you guys just bailing on me all the time.
Ooh.
Whitey, you, Eric.
I don't
you-
bail.
You guys bailed on us during the election.
Listen,
You bailed. You bailed on us. You left you left me behind enemy lines. Okay.
You know what? You did that to yourself.
Never again. Maybe I'll get a Winnebago next time.
Oh God.
What?
This is what I get for taking too many notes, because I.
No, see, these people already forgot all about Eric anyways. Who's Eric?
Oh,
They
no. We love
Yeah.
Eric.
did. Yeah. Eric's run his course. We're getting rid of him.
You know,
This dredge.
speaking of that, did you guys see when Ian?
It's going to be Jackson. So somebody said
love
whoever
when
does the cross
I
tomorrow.
interrupted. Do you even want me here?
Yes, I want you here.
Do we hear this?
Yes, I want you here.
It's fine. You can
Folks, I didn't even ask her tonight. I only sent her a link, right? I was prepared just to come on by myself because, it was my girl Jen. And I sent the link out to Boozy and to Eric. And Boozy was in like an hour and a half before the show. And Eric came in and said hi, but he had to finish working. So that's Eric. Some of the other nights during the week, it's tough on Eric. It's like an hour ride home for him. He should have been home by now. I bet you he stopped at the bar. I bet you he's at the hillside right now.
I doubt you.
So I waited. I tried to wait. So whoever does the cross will be aware of her prior testimony. Brennan will let her say whatever. Yeah, well, that's what he was doing. He was just letting her roll today, and we already know it's going to be Jackson because whoever objects during direct is who's going to be doing the cross. So when you're watching and you listen, because sometimes you'll hear Liza Little object, so excuse me, she's going to be the one doing the cross, or Alessi. Has Yannetti crossed anyone yet? This trial? Had to have. They all must have taken a turn. Yeah. Oh, Eric's in the chat. Eric's doing a chat thing. Yeah. Yeah. Eric's
I take too
doing
many
a chat.
goddamn notes.
Well,
Oh, did not know what temperature it was in Canton. Yeah, I lost my shit. I'm in all caps. Like, what do you mean you didn't know what temperature it was in Canton? What are you talking about? That's insane.
Well, the weatherman's going to tell him that.
I don't care. He should have known when he was doing that. Oh my
Absolutely.
God. I lost my shit. I was like, oh my God. Because that was right after the part that he was talking about the battery temperature in the freezer. I was like, so he didn't know the freezer temperature and he also didn't know the outdoor temperature.
Yeah. Do you know how hard it is to put a thermometer in the freezer so that when you start your test, you can say, okay, the freezer's at X degrees. I put the phone in. The phone was in an environment of Y degrees. And
Right
the
here.
battery, yeah.
Apple's source code is proprietary. No one has access to it. And then that's when they were talking about it was actually around the Google search data. Look at me. It's like I listen.
Of course you do. You took notes.
Yeah, 10 pages of his. This is ridiculous.
Yep.
And he also used Axiom as well to analyze.
While we have this quick little break, I do want to get this out there because we didn't do that today. So here you go.
Give us fucking McDonough, and we'll go easy on you.
There you go. Reality check. You just got. And I think there might have been another one, right? Let's see. There's got to be one more. Yes. Buzzing. Oh, buzzing. I apologize, buzzing. I saw it right away, but we were on a roll. Buzzing. Let's give you Buzzing, I love buzzing. Let's give you the. There you go, buzzing. Actually, buzzing. How about this one, buzzing?
You know, I sit here meeting after meeting and absorb what I absorb, and that's fine. But I think it's negligent upon us that if a speaker gets up and they spread disinformation, that it should be brought to light. And one of the
All right, we got to get back to.
Yes. Exactly.
Oh my God, he's too much. Yeah.
They also could not validate Jen McCabe's data because there was no chain of custody and had unsigned hash value.
I saw that.
Couldn't
But yet,
even
hey,
validate it.
but in the first trial, they took a screenshot, printed out of Allie McCabe and Collins' texts back and forth to each other.
Well, technically, that would have not been validated either. They just allowed it in, just like they did her phone data, because that's all they
because
had.
there's no evidentiary hearings.
Well, that's all they had.
Right.
That's literally all they had. And I want to know in chat if you watched Ian Whiffin at the very end, right before Jen McCabe, if you weren't asleep or gone by then. What did you guys think of that live demo that he did?
Oh, the one that it'll take me 5 minutes. I can do it in 5 minutes.
Well, no, don't do it now. We're gonna stick to Jen McCabe. But
No, that one. No. When he goes, how long will it take? It'll take 5 minutes. I can do it in 5 minutes.
And then Alessi is like, objection.
Yeah, because they would. The last trial, they wouldn't even let the defense count 22 seconds.
I know.
Your Honor, can we see how long 22 seconds is? No.
But also, too, there was a point in time where they wanted to do like a certain length of whatever, I forget how many feet it was, and Bev was like, "You're not doing it, Mr.
Right?
Jackson."
Yeah, because that's too close to my cousin Vinny with the tape measure.
I mean, All right, let's get back to Jen's thing,
Okay, we'll get back to her.
because I could talk about Ian Whiffin all day, because that's what I got notes on. Unless you want me to start talking about Kerry.
At 4:53, my phone rings, and I look at my caller ID. I look at
here
the
it
phone,
comes.
and it's Kaylee,
And
John's
who's Kaylee?
niece. John's niece. And I say hello, and she said, "Yeah." Well, basically, she relayed to me that
Next question.
When you pick up the phone, could you hear a voice on the other end?
No.
I heard a voice and a lot of screaming.
I hate these
And the voice you
questions.
heard, is that Kaylee, John's niece?
Yes,
And the screaming, was it a man or a woman screaming?
it was a woman,
How loud was that person screaming?
very loud.
Could you make out anything that person was saying as they were screaming?
Turn your TVs up.
My name was screamed a lot.
How'd it go?
And then the other individual ended up getting on the phone with me.
You know she's going to tell us how it went.
And who was that person that was screaming in the background?
Miss Reed,
How
I'm
long
gonna
was she
compare 'em.
screaming for while you were speaking to your
I'm
niece?
going to
before
compare
you
this
spoke
year's
with her?
versus last year's.
the entire time I was speaking to Kaylee, she was screaming.
Describe her demeanor.
Miss Reed's,
Yes.
Jen! Jen! And then she's screaming that John didn't.
Sorry.
Why does she do a little neck thing with it? Like she looks
I
like she's
know.
a turkey. Gobble gobble.
I'm going to click this year's versus last year's.
Her demeanor.
Miss Reed's,
Yes.
Jen! Jen! And then she's screaming that John didn't come home.
Wait a minute. How's it go?
No, bitch. No, give me.
How'd it go? Oh, I'm clipping that one too. Thank you. That's gonna be a super chat right there.
She left him at the waterfall. She was hysterical. I was very hard to follow what she was saying.
How long did that first call last for?
I'm not sure how long, maybe possibly a few minutes, but it was loud enough and long enough that my husband shot up in bed, thinking one of my kids
Shot
had come
up
in the
in
room
bed.
screaming.
That guy's not moving fast
Without
ever.
saying what your niece said, could you describe your niece's demeanor when you first spoke to her? I mean, John's niece's demeanor.
I would say Kaylee sounded concerned, uneasy.
Okay. During that phone call, other than the screaming and the screaming of your name, did the defendant give you any information other than she had dropped John off at the waterfall?
They'd gotten into a fight. She had left him there, and he didn't come home.
And when you were woken up, were you in a sleep when you were woken up?
Yes, I was sound asleep.
What was your mental state like when you first woke up and got that call?
Well, I had been up late. I had taken my medication that
Here
I
it
take for
comes.
my MS, so I was definitely a bit groggy when I first woke up. So immediately I just wanted to help her. She was hysterical. Kaylee was upset.
I was groggy, so I immediately wanted to help her. I was a groggy helper.
So I went into that kind of mom mode of what can I do? How can I help? So I immediately was like thinking, oh,
You know, the small town mom mode, where I'm going to help, and then we're going to go get a drink afterwards.
okay, well, if you left him at the waterfall, let me think who was still there, or, you know, how can I help you? How can we find John?
Did you have a plan when you ended that first call?
I did. I knew Chris Albert had
stall.
still been at the waterfall when I left. So I thought if Karen and John had gotten into a fight, maybe Chris had walked out of the bar and Chris lived local to the bar, thought maybe.
So that's what she thought. She thought that since Chris was the last one out of the bar, right?
No, but
And-
hold on though. Jen was already at 34 Fairview. How would she know who was the last out of the bar? She would have already been gone.
Exactly.
That doesn't make any sense.
Why? How did she know Chris was the last one out of the bar?
And not only that, Chris was the one that was being wicked annoying to John, especially in Aruba, and they were like drinking on his lawn and shit, like pressing the ring doorbell over and over again. Like, you really think John's gonna want to hang out with Chris? Just because he went to the bar doesn't mean he just wanted to continue the party, just like he did at fucking 34 Fairview.
Yeah, he just didn't want to make pizzas.
It's just... No, because he knew if he was going to go to D&E Pizza that they were going to go home afterwards, and he didn't want to go home. He wanted to keep having fun. Again, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, I know.
There's nothing wrong with that. You want to go have fun, go have fun.
left.
Just, you know,
So I
have fun.
thought if Karen and John had gotten into a fight, maybe Chris had walked out of the bar and Chris lived local to the bar, thought maybe they walked back to Chris's together.
So what did you do?
So she thought that they walked back to Chris's together. This was her original. This is what she thought when she woke up, right? But they saw them, and she texted them, and they had a phone call. This is all made up because she's groggy. Because they clear this up in the next minute or two. Like, oh, well, that's what I originally thought, but then I remembered, you know.
There's not even enough time for her medication to kick in. Like between the time she got home to when she supposedly fell asleep. I hate that I have her data. I hate this because I can just go back and forth and I go, you're just lying. You're literally just lying.
Yeah.
She's just lying. What is she gonna do? Immediately go home and immediately take her pill? Okay, so say for instance, right? She gets home at 1:57. She then, well, actually later than that. Oh, I lied to you all. She gets home at like 2:13. Okay. She stops moving at 2:33. Her medication would have not even kicked in. I don't understand that. I don't get this. I'm
Yeah.
trying to understand.
But this is her thinking in the morning, which gets cleared up afterwards. But this makes no sense of, oh, because you don't know who's left after you because you've left.
Well, here's the thing. Nope, that's her Apple Health Watch. She was moving at 3:50. She did something around 3:50 in the morning and then went back to bed again at 4:55.
Right. Here we go. Let's
was
hear it
so-
all again. Let's hear it all again.
Fine, John.
Did you have a plan when you ended that first call?
I did. I knew Chris Albert had still been at the Waterfall when I left. So I thought if Karen and John had gotten into a fight, maybe Chris had walked out of the bar and Chris lived local to the bar, thought maybe they walked back to Chris's together.
So what did you,
If they got in a fight, why would they walk back to Chris's together?
That's what I mean.
If they got in a fight with Chris, why are they walking back with Chris? They have a car. Why wouldn't they have driven Chris?
Right.
Everybody drove by Chris's condo. Nobody gave him a ride, with the exception of when Chris told Proctor 2 days later or the next day that they followed to 34 Fairview, and then we found out he didn't. But once again, we'll never know because they've gotten rid of all this shit evidence.
what did you do?
So I called Chris Albert's wife, Julie.
Did you speak to her?
No, she never answered.
After you had a moment to make a phone call and think about things, did your head become any more clearer?
It did, and I was,
did.
reminded by my husband that we had seen Karen and John's car outside of Fairview.
When he reminded you, did you independently remember the text messages that you sent to John earlier that
This is
evening?
such bullshit.
Immediately, I was like, "Oh my God, you're right."
Did you remember
my
that you had
God.
seen
Oh my God, you're
the
right.
defendant's car in front of the house and near the flagpole?
Watch the form.
Okay. What did you remember? What came to mind after you spoke?
Okay. Do you see what's happening here, people? He asks a question that he knows is going to be objected because everything in the question he's going to ask the second time, she just is going to repeat what the first question was. This is how they coach them through. He's going to ask a question. It's going to be objected. She doesn't have to answer it, but the question is her answer. He's going to ask it differently, and she's going to answer his question. She's going to use his question as the answer. Right? Let me back this up. You can listen to his question, listen to the objection, then listen to the answer. When we stop doing all the little drags. Do 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 do. I know. All right, calm down. It might work sometimes though. No, stop. I still have a prickson and a half left. I'm doing very good. Oh no, it's coming. There it is.
Oh,
Immediately, I was like, "Oh my God, you're right."
Did you remember that you had seen what you believed to be the defendant's car in front of the house and near the flagpole?
Watch the form.
Okay. What did you remember? What came to mind after you spoke to your husband about your memory from earlier that evening?
The minute he said it, I remember seeing the SUV and then all the text messages that I had and the phone conversation with John.
So after
See? You see what he's doing, people? So now that you know how he's doing it, you can listen to all of his questions. And the minute, so basically, he does this a lot. Oh, Jesus Christ! Who's got the link? Who is coming in? Who? Oh, Jesus! Hey, Eric! Hey, Eric!
Hey, what's going on? Let me
Eric!
turn off the TV so I'm not watching myself from duplicate.
The pot of boozy tonight will be played by Eric.
Hey, Boozy. Happy birthday.
Aww.
And John, can I make a prediction?
Yeah, you can make a prediction.
I'm going to make two predictions. I'm gonna predict that Alan Jackson's gonna ask his first question in cross at 2:27 tomorrow.
You think?
Yeah, and then he's not gonna be done until 2:27 on Wednesday.
Oh my God, that would be freaking hilarious.
I think we can. I think they can make that happen.
Eric, do you like my background?
I think your background is fantastic. It looks like you're getting your shoulder eaten.
A little bit, yeah. You know, she looks a little hungry, doesn't she?
A little nibble.
Why won't it let me swap you guys?
My version of a missing people's.
Eric, can you swap you with Boozy for a minute?
I could probably do that. You've
Okay.
you've missed me because
There you
the
go.
technical issues.
Difficulties?
I've seen.
Oh, you had some whitey issues? Everybody.
I know
So
you
everybody,
talked about-
welcome, Eric, everybody. Eric, we do have some new viewers. Hopefully they're still watching us.
So we got more than 5 today.
Yeah, but we have a viewer that is going to be a guest on our show as long as we don't F it up.
Gary Titus.
No. Oh, no. It's a story. No. You know that story I've been researching?
Oh yeah, I know that story.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
I
boy.
found him.
You found him?
I found him.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
What is
So
that?
and when is this? When is he coming on?
As soon as he is ready, it's up to him.
So I
Just
know,
not Sunday. We can't do. Oh, folks at home, for the 52 of you that are watching us, we will not have a show this Sunday. I'm gonna try to go Saturday night. Sunday night there is a conflict, a scheduling conflict. So
You're gonna
sorry.
you're gonna need a couple of days after Sunday just so you can hear it.
for my ears, yes. But I'll tell you, it's probably it's something that I've always it's one of it's been on my bucket list. So it just is. It
Oh,
fell.
that's a huge.
Yeah,
That's a huge bucket list right there.
I know.
Wait, you going skydiving?
That's on my bucket list too, but I'm too fat, so no, I'm not going skydiving.
What about Rocky Mountain climbing?
No, I'm not. No, I'm too
You
old.
know where I'm
and
going with this?
Rocky Mountain climbing. That's not on there.
Skydiving, I went Rocky
No,
Mountain.
no.
Wow.
It's more like
Someone in the chat knows where I went with that.
yeah, no. I know where you go. I know the song, but you're wrong. You're wrong.
You wrong.
I am going to have well, I mean, I'm going to have the Jack. I know that. Right, Eric? Going to have the Jack.
Absolutely.
And I don't know. It's going to be a whole lot of Rosie. I know that. And
I can tell you that I got this one, the same thing, off my bucket list 25 years ago.
and I might see Helena as I'm trying to make a jailbreak.
I'll put money on it that you're gonna see her.
Yeah. So for some of you that don't know, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of dirty deeds going on.
Okay.
Yeah,
How about Hell's Bells?
absolutely. And I'm going to be shook all night long.
Exactly.
Yes, I'm going to ACDC Sunday. So yes. So no show on Sunday night. ACDC. My ears are going to be ring. I'm going to bring earplugs. I'll probably bring some
No,
earplugs.
you're out in the open air, so that's not so bad. I saw AC/DC at the Garden, the old Garden.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, it was the loudest concert ever. I've talked to people that have been in Metallica and AC/DC. They said AC/DC is so much louder than Metallica.
Really?
And it was the loudest concert I've ever been to. It was amazing. They're unbelievable. But it was almost 2 hours after that. I went with somebody else, and we couldn't speak to each other for 2 hours because we couldn't hear each other.
Wow. I did my first concert, believe it or not, was 8 years ago, and it was Guns N' Roses.
GNR.
Yeah, and they played for the whole 3 hours.
Yeah,
It was amazing. Yeah. He
You wanna
went
hear-
through so many mic stands and T-shirt, those flannel shirts, and he just kept running behind the stage, grabbing water. And yeah.
You want to hear a fun fact?
No, but you'll tell us anyways.
Yes, I am going to tell you anyways. So on Spotify, AC/DC's #1 song with the most views, or plays, I should say, is Highway to Hell, and it has 1.9 billion.
Of course.
Okay, yeah, but guess what Taylor Swift's is?
3 billion.
Oh, go ahead. Tell us. Go ahead.
2.9 billion.
Yeah, I was close.
Is Angus in a neck brace? I don't know. I don't know, but I'll find out. Yeah.
Back to Jen. Back to Jen.
Oh, yeah.
We're
Because this
almost
is.
done.
Hey, what I
all
missed?
right. You just missed Jen basically saying that when she first got there, the pickup truck was out front instead of that she was in the house.
And the
You
Jeep-
missed.
The Jeep was there too. The
You missed
mysterious-
Jen saying she never said anything about a surprise to Karen. Like, we get a surprise, come with us. You missed. What else did we miss of her? Oh, the fact that she never saw the vehicle move, but then she says she saw it move.
John, the truth, the whole
Yeah.
truth, and nothing but the
Yeah.
truth.
Pretty much. Yeah. So look at everybody's. Somebody saw Rush in 1980. Someone saw Mully.
Hey, how come you
someone's-
guys went up about 600 viewers since I've been on?
Oh, shut up. There's no way. Hey, stop using all the money to pay for subscribers. We can't afford all these
I sent the
subscribers.
group text.
You sent it out to Harvard, didn't you? Hey, I'm going on. Come on and watch.
Back to Jen.
Okay, I'm going. All right, let's see. We open that up to there. Right. We go here. And
The defendant spoke to you and said she had left the defendant at the waterfall, and you had time to think about your memories. Did you react or do anything with that?
Yes, I believe I called Kaylee back.
Why did you call Kaylee?
I didn't have Miss Reed's phone number.
When you called
thought they were
Kaylee
friends.
back, did you speak to anybody?
Yes, I believe Kaylee and then Miss Reed.
When you first spoke to Kaylee, could you hear anything other than Kaylee?
The screaming.
Was it any different, or was it similar to the first time you spoke by
Similar to the first time.
regarding the demeanor or intensity? Had it changed at all?
Not at all.
You mentioned the first time that you had that phone call, the defendant was screaming your name. Jen,
Yes.
Jen. Was she saying your name in the second call, or was it just general screaming?
My name. And then when she got on the phone, I had told her, Karen, I saw you guys outside of my sister's house. And then she told me she didn't remember being there. And then she went on to say, she started saying, could I have hit him? Did I hit him? I don't. And then she just was just all over the place, like screaming my name, screaming so many different things. She was hard to follow or understand.
When she was saying to you, did I hit him? Could have I hit him? Was that before or after you informed her that you had seen her out front of your sister's house?
It was after I told her that. She also informed me that she had cracked her taillight.
In that conversation, she told you that?
In one of the conversations I had with her in my bedroom, yes.
When
okay. So this is the first time, according to them, that Karen tells Jen that she cracked her taillight. I did go back to last year. It's similar, but it still begs the question if she is telling her, oh my God, I cracked my taillight. Once again, this year, in trial 2.0, Kerry says that it's in the driveway, that she shows them in the driveway of Jen's house. Then in trial 1.0, it was before they went in the house at John's house, and then back to 2.0, it was when they came out. Yet everything that they say, none of it's on footage. And we're going to get to the more taillight stuff in a second, right here.
When you told her that you had seen her out front, she had said that she didn't remember that night. Was that before or after she was saying, did I hit him? Could have I hit him?
Can you repeat the question?
So
Sorry.
she was telling you about that she didn't remember that night. Was that before or after you had told her about seeing her car?
When I said I saw her at Fairview, then her response was she didn't even remember going there.
Did she ever deny that she came to Mr. O'Keefe's house? I mean, to your sister's house?
No.
When she told you or said to you, did I hit him or could have I hit him or something like that, did you have any idea what she was talking about?
No, I didn't pay attention to it.
When she told you that she had cracked her taillight the night before, did that have any significance at that time to you?
No.
So in telling you these different things, did you ever piece them together at that time?
No.
What was your primary motivation at that point?
I just wanted to help her because she was hysterical. Kaylee was very upset, so I wanted to help her, and I wanted to find John.
So after she told you these things about
Such a
whether
helpy
she could
hope.
have did hit her and the light and not remembering, did the conversation end or did it progress?
At some point, I was then going into like, okay, well, if she brought him there and left him there, where was he? Because he never came in the house, and she doesn't know where he is, so now where could he be? So I started thinking there was another gentleman that was supposed to meet us out at the bar who John was friends with. So I thought, okay, well, in my head, I'm thinking maybe they got into a fight. John got out of the car, and he connected with this guy because he was at a party on the street.
What was that
Over.
person's name?
His name is Tom Beatty.
Did you call him?
So first
What?
she thought. So first she thought.
Hold on.
First
What?
she thought they got in a fight and walked home with Chris Albert. Now she thought they got in a fight, and he went over to Tom Beatty's house.
You know what? You know what? You want to fucking talk about Beatty, Jenny? Have him on the stand, and he'll testify to all the things that you guys have done to them. Put him on the stand. Wow, Jen. Wow. 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 That's all I'm going to say.
What are you gonna say?
Wow.
I'd like to see him on the stand.
Yeah, me too. Me
I'm
too.
convinced he'd be very truthful.
How many scenarios is Jen gonna go through, other than let's just go to 34 Fairview and see if he's there, because that's where the last place we saw you guys. Instead, right? Let's go to One Meadows, where you just came from, where you've been. Not let's go to 34 Fairview. Now, mind you, she's going to be at Jen's house, right? They're all gonna. Karen and Kerry are going to be at Jen's house. In Canton, what's the logical first place you're going to go? Are you going to go to Meadows or are you going to go to 34 Fairview from Jen's house?
No, I'd go to Canton PD.
Well, you're going to pass Canton PD. That's going to be the first thing,
It's
right?
there.
You're going to drive right past Canton PD.
Right.
You're going to go to where Jen, being the good person she is, and Matt, being the good person. If they want to help so much, why wouldn't they say, well, maybe after you dropped, we saw you guys there. Maybe when you dropped him off, he decided to start walking home. Let's go look for him down there.
Well, I think Boozy's onto something too. I think why not go to Canton PD at first thing in the morning and say, hey, my boyfriend hasn't come home, and all of us, other than Kerry, we were with him last night, but he's nowhere to be found right now. Start there and then go searching.
Right.
Because it's not like it's out of the way. And I'm
How
sure
about this?
Oh,
Go ahead,
can
sorry.
you not interrupt me? Thank you.
I did.
it's not like they're going out of the way. I'm sure there's people in chat that don't really know this, but like literally to turn, it's you pass right by Canton PD either way. There's no reason why they didn't stop there if she really wants to start this whole shenanigan story.
There's 2 cruises behind Canton Police Department, correct? Because we know that because their dash cams both leave Canton Police Department to go to 34 Fairview when they do call 911. So if you go to the Canton Police Station first, you don't think one cruiser go to Meadows and one cruiser could go to 34 and help you look?
And
But
it's not-
especially too, if they were to stop in there, they have a friendly in there.
absolutely. Yeah. They've
Wait,
got
you mean
a
Higgins?
couple. No, well, I mean, they know who Lank is and a couple of the other police officers in there. I mean, Jen's lived in the town her whole life. She's got to know some.
I mean, no fucking good was there.
Good, no good.
No fucking good.
Oh, Eric, by the way, Higgins is going to come up in our next show.
Really?
Yes.
Now that's
Yeah.
a little twist.
Yes, it is.
I can't wait.
Tim did audio. I don't have my glasses.
How many-
You guys
how
will
many
have to help
guests,
me on
John?
this.
1, 2.
2. Yeah.
I really hope they called Tom Beatty now. I really hope so.
Yeah. All right, let's go back. Here we go. Look at that one, huh? That's a good pause. Oh, wait. Got to bring it back up.
We can't see it.
I got to bring it back up first before I unpause it. Here we go. Here we go.
Yes.
Did you get a chance to speak to him that night?
That morning?
Yes.
No.
Did you call around anywhere else?
I believe I called my sister. I called John. I called Tom Beatty. I called his daughter.
You called John O'Keefe's phone?
Yes.
Did he answer?
No.
Did it go right to voicemail?
I don't remember.
Did you text anybody?
I honestly don't remember if I
Okay.
texted. I primarily think I was just,
When did she do the text and then delete?
I don't know.
Didn't she text something and then delete it? Didn't she text a picture, take a screenshot, text it, and delete it of Uncle Bry?
That was when they were at the scene.
Oh, that was on scene?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
So there was deleting that was going on throughout the day, evening, morning.
Right.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
trying to call as many people as I could and try to figure out what happened.
So you had 2 conversations at this point with the defendant while you were still home.
Yes.
Was there any further phone calls that you had before you did something?
I'm not sure if I know I went downstairs to make coffee because my plan was to go with my husband. I said, come on, let's just go over to Tom Beatty's. Let's see. Maybe John's there. He passed out on the couch. I'm not sure if Karen called me again or not. It's a little foggy because there was so many calls and everything.
And so that morning when you're receiving calls,
Making coffee.
I have it.
did something happen?
What?
I have it. Jen McCabe sends 2 text messages, one at 2:25:11, the other at 2:25:56, and then she
There you go.
deletes 2 screenshots, 2:26:37.
And then, wait a minute. Say those again?
So she sends one text message at 2:25:11,
Uh-huh.
the second text message at 2:25:56.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold that. At 2:20, when was Higgins, what happened? When was the 22-second butt dial?
That was at 2:22:52.
Okay, hold on a minute. So the butt dial was at 2:22, right?
Yep.
2:22 butt dial. Now, what was next?
Jen's text message 2:25.
Yeah.
her second text message 2:25. One was at 11, one was 56. And then she deletes 2 screenshots at 2:26:37, and then she Googles house long to die in cold at 2:27:40.
I don't know about you, but I'm thinking more and more. Karen didn't do this.
Well, then around 2:15 to 2:30, Lucky Loughran plows 34 Fairview Road, and doesn't see anything. And then goes by again between 2:30 and 3 and sees the Ford Edge.
Yeah.
And
But they're just trying to help.
Well, Brian Higgins was seen at Canton Police Department at 1:40.
Was it 1:30 on the phone?
It was like 1:40.
On the phone outside of the station.
And Jen McCabe left 34 Fairview Road at 1:47.
And she said, right today, in this testimony, he left only a half hour ahead of her.
Well, I mean, he was already at Canton PD, so
Yeah.
he probably, I would assume he only left like 10 minutes before that.
Yeah. We
At
don't.
like 1:30.
She had mentioned that the Jeep was there. Did she
Mhm.
mention what position the Jeep was in?
No, she says out front in the mailbox.
Okay, so if it was at the mailbox, which way do we think it was pointing? What direction was it going? Towards Chapman Street or towards basically?
Yeah, yes, because according to last year's testimony, he said that's the way he left.
Okay, so if John's body was at the flagpole, he gets in that vehicle. There's just no way Higgins misses it. Not a chance.
Well, he was looking for the fisher stick.
Okay. Once he finds the fish stick,
Yeah.
then he looks up and he sees everything, because you know what those plows have really good headlights.
Those extra plow
They
lights.
have
I know.
great lights.
Yeah. All right.
But I guess the Jeep would have had to have been there for that to actually happen.
Correct.
Well, no, not only that, I feel like the majority of them had newer year vehicles anyways, like all of the quote unquote main players besides Colin. So like those are all nicer headlights. It's not going to be some shit yellow, non-LED headlight. It's going to be bright.
Right.
Yeah, they're big. They're plow lights. They're supposed to cover quite a bit. It's not, that you're going to use them when the plow's on there. It's going to be just like headlights, but you're going to see plenty.
But not only that, I think about like Jen's vehicle. Doesn't Jen have like a Tahoe or Expedition or some big
Like
hunky dunk?
I think like a Wagoneer or something.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
Yukon, Denali.
She may have a Wagoneer now, but back then she had like a
I think it was a Yukon back then.
yeah.
Yeah. Shall we go on?
Yeah, but John, there's another question now that by the way, her hair looks fantastic in this picture.
I said that.
I'm curious, how did she ever get your nudes?
Oh.
I don't think I've ever heard that story.
You had to
Have you,
hit there,
Boozy?
didn't you? You listen. Yeah. Yeah,
Maybe
there you
that's
go.
maybe that's one
I
of the,
heard somebody say that I wasn't welcome on the show earlier anymore.
Oh, is that what that is? That's a touche? Is that what that was? Yeah. Hmm. Hey, people, for the 24 of you who are watching, please like and share and subscribe. It's
Subscriptions
free.
are free, yeah.
It's free. Subscriptions are free. We don't charge anything.
We always end up with more viewers than
Speaking of which, before we get back to that, anybody see the Canton Chronicles latest story? We're still waiting. We're still waiting on that $500 for the town to accept in cash.
How about
They're in no hurry. They're in no hurry to take my money.
It's not all your money. It's not all your money.
You know what I mean.
It's the
Our money, the Kronks.
Kronks.
They're in no rush. And for those that didn't see it, so I handed the secretary at town hall the check. I had her give me a photocopy and I had her stamp it. And then on Tuesday, I called the treasurer's office and just asked if the check that Tim Taylor wrote ever cleared. And he asked for my phone number. I gave him my phone number. He said he would get back to me. And then later that afternoon, I got an email from the town clerk saying that she's in charge of the public requests, and they were going to look into it. So that means I got to wait 10 days for them to come back and tell me whether or not that check ever made it into the bank and cleared. So those are the two things we're sitting on, waiting to see if the dog pound can, the dog shelter can use that money for dog food and blankets and all different things for the dogs, and they're just sitting there. So hopefully, next select board, it'll be on the agenda.
I'm sure over the next 10 days, the Chronicle will have plenty to report on.
Yeah.
In the meantime,
I can't wait for that next story. That the next story is a doozy. Lanka. Yeah, anyways, let's go back to Jen. Lanka's friend.
Karen showed up at my house.
How did you know Karen showed up at your house?
I could hear her screaming out front.
And about what time is this?
Approximately 5:20, 5:30. I can't be sure.
Were you worried for John at this point?
Not particularly, no.
Were you screaming?
No.
Now, at this point, at this moment, when you hear her outside of your house yelling, early morning hours, did you know a person by the name of Kerry Roberts?
I knew of her. I'd met her once.
You know what I just realized? She heard her screaming outside of her house. Matt's going to hear her screaming outside of the house. You know who didn't hear anything or wake up or look out their window or come outside with fire engines and screaming? But over in her neighborhood, they don't want the neighbors, waking up.
But
Were you friends with her at that time?
to banter off that, Brian Albert, who was very close to the scene, didn't hear anything, but yet the neighbor next door did. That was further away.
Absolutely.
No.
Had you socialized with her at that time?
No.
Had you ever seen her before with John?
Once.
Tell me about that.
Years earlier, as I said earlier, I used to take Kaylee on Friday nights, and Kerry was the one who would take Patrick on Friday night. So we would each have the kids. And to thank us, one day John told us how he got a discount at Reebok and to get our kids' shoe sizes, and he was going to buy us all sneakers, just as a way to say thank you for helping. So we all went to the store together, and then John took Kerry and myself to the hillside for lunch.
How many years before this moment was that?
Oh, gosh. Well, I think that's when my daughter was in kindergarten or first grade, and at this point she was in 8th grade. So like 7 years.
Had you ever spent any other time with Kerry Roberts before this morning?
No.
Were you friends at that point?
No.
How would you consider your relationship with Miss Roberts on that morning?
Well, she's
when
a
Miss
talker.
Schmid arrived to your home?
I had met her once, and that was the extent of it. I wouldn't say I knew her at all, beyond that one time I went out with her.
She
I
didn't
want
like
you to
her.
take us back now to when you
No,
first
but
hear
they're
the
close
defendant
now.
in your driveway yelling.
She doesn't
When you
like
hear
her.
that, do you hear any words or
Kerry's
just general
convenient.
yelling?
Yep.
So I hear yelling. So I was downstairs making coffee. I go to my front door and I open it, and she's screaming, "Jen, Jen!"
So she was making coffee, and she could hear the screaming. Where's the kitchen? Is it in the front or the back of her house?
is she on a first name basis with any of the jurors yet?
Oh, the googly eyes. Yeah.
You know what? I could
She's
put
screaming
Oh,
that 3
wait a
times.
minute. I missed the Jen again. Hold on. We gotta back that up. Shit.
While you're buffering, I'll be right back.
Go ahead. You buffer. I'll buffer. You come back. Come on. Hurry up before he gets back. Come on. Come on. You can do it. There we go. You just got to move it. I'm still going to play it before he gets back.
I was downstairs making coffee. I go to my front door and I open it, and she's screaming, "Jen, Jen!" She's screaming that 3 times, and then she was saying, "We have to go to Fairview."
Why didn't you?
You know, a lot of the "could I have hit him? Did I hit him?" Just she was on repeat.
What did you do?
My husband
We didn't go to
came running
34
down the
Fairview.
hall and was like, "Tell her to shut up. She's going to wake up the neighbors." And then I said, "I'm just going to go with her. I'm going to go look for John." And then he yelled down saying something like, "You can't be driving around in this weather, with a broken taillight."
That's not what he said last year. Last year, he said he was happy that she was going out to look for John so that he didn't have to because he assumed John was on someone's couch.
And at 5 o'clock in the morning, who
Right.
says to somebody that, "Oh, you don't have a taillight, you can't be driving around"? Come on.
Yeah, no. It doesn't make any sense.
I mean,
It doesn't make any sense.
it's bizarre.
When you saw the defendant at your front door, had the weather changed overnight?
Yes.
Was it different?
Yes, now the snow had intensified. It was almost like it was dark outside, but it was like whiteout conditions.
How dark?
Dark. I mean,
How
it was
dark?
dark. It was like 5:30 in
Dark.
the morning.
What was the visibility like?
Not good.
After you meet the defendant at your door, do you let her in or does she stay outside?
I'm not sure if I just grabbed my coffee and ran out
Where did
or
you go?
whether she came in. So we went down my walkway. She was just kind of running all around. The driver's door was open. So I told her I was going to drive because I thought she was too hysterical to drive. In the meantime, all of a sudden there was a car at the end of my street and there was a plow behind it.
The car that came to the end of your street, do you know where it went?
I meant the end of my driveway, I'm sorry.
When you say at the end of your driveway, did it pull into your driveway?
No, it just kind of stopped right at the base of my driveway.
Okay. How far behind your car was that car?
That's not what Kerry said.
Not far, not too far.
Kerry said
Did
she
you
had
know who
pulled
was
in
that
and was
car?
looking right at the.
Did you learn who was in that car?
Yes,
How did you learn who was in the car?
because I said, "Who is that?" And-
Did you ask the defendant or did you walk
I
up?
asked the defendant, and she told me it was Kerry Roberts.
Did you meet Kerry Roberts face to face in your driveway that morning?
Yes, I wouldn't say we met. It was more of a, the plow was coming, so then she was having to like move down the street, and then either Karen called her or she called Karen, but they were on the phone, Karen's phone over the car, so they started talking.
Did you get into the defendant's car?
Yes, we did. I got in the car with Miss Reed.
When you got in the car, you were in the driver's seat. Was Miss Reed in the passenger front?
Yes,
You said there was an open call. Is this something you could hear on a speaker?
yes,
At that point, had you had a chance to go and look at the taillight of that car?
no,
Did you have any interest in the taillight at that point?
no.
There was an open call between who?
Karen and Kerry Roberts.
Can you describe what you heard in that call?
Karen was saying that she wanted to go to Fairview, and Kerry Roberts was instructing her that no, we weren't going to be going to Fairview, and she kept saying, "We got to go to your sister's house." And Kerry Roberts said, "No, we're not going to be driving around in this weather in 2 cars. Let's go back to John's. Let's go to Meadows. Let's go see if he's there." That was kind of the conversation. And then Karen was doing a lot of screaming, and Kerry was kind of yelling back at her to shut up.
Who was taking charge of the situation that morning?
Kerry Roberts.
Were you in charge of it?
No.
Did you weigh in or make any decisions on where you were going to go next, or were you just a listener?
I just listened. Kerry said that Kerry's kind of a take charge person. She said, we're going to Meadows. So I said, okay, I drove to Meadows.
Now, at this point,
Carrie's
you
not a
didn't
take charge
know
person.
Terry Roberts?
He's a
You were
talk-
in that meeting?
Yes, correct.
She doesn't
And
take
you agreed
charge.
to follow
Over
her?
Jen?
Yes.
So tell us what happens. Take us through the drive.
She might have followed me. I'm not sure, but we drove back to Meadows, pulled into the driveway.
So you knew where Meadows was? You had been there many times with the kids?
Yes,
You think Miss Roberts may have followed you?
yes.
What was the weather conditions as you were driving?
They were awful. It was. I was driving very slow, cautiously. It was dark. It was hard to see. It was that type where the snow is like coming at your window.
How long of a ride was it from your home to John's home?
Approximately 5-6 minutes.
Was there any other phone calls while you were in the car with Miss Roberts, or did the phone calls end?
I believe that was it.
Can you describe the defendant's demeanor on the trip from your house to John's house?
She was just screaming, yelling things. It was almost like everything she said 3 times. And she just went from one thing to the next. She was quite hysterical.
Do you remember what she was yelling about?
About going to Fairview, asking, could she have hit him? Did I hit him?
How many times did she raise the question, did I hit him? Could have I hit him?
A good amount.
I want to stop right there for a minute because Jen said Kerry was at the end of her driveway, right? And that they were on a call, right? Yeah? Hopefully this is the one. No? Hopefully this is it. I'm hoping. Yep.
I pulled in behind her car in Jen's driveway, and at some point Karen said, my taillight, and I looked, and Jen she must have had the brake done because you could see that there was missing taillight. Yes, when we left the house, she pointed it out to me. Karen pointed it out and said, look, my taillight, and she said, do you think I hit him? And I said, no, I don't think you hit him. What are you talking about? Let's just go find him.
So once again, she was in the driveway, but not according to Jen just a couple minutes ago. A couple minutes ago, she was just out in the street.
Why doesn't Jen want Kerry in her driveway?
I don't know.
Would be my question.
Don't know. But she was in the driveway. Here we go.
I remember when I pulled in behind her car in Jen's driveway, and at some point.
There you go. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. It's that time. It's going to get very loud in here. But we'll get through it.
Did you get more pricks and cider?
No. Dylan just jumped up from the ground and he's at the front door. Oh,
put on the Jen and mute your mic.
Put on the Jen? Oh, I can do that. Yeah.
And then mute your mic.
I'm gonna. Here we go.
Where's Jen?
Where's Jen? Oh my God. She's missing. She's missing, everybody. She's still missing.
First off, I'm sitting here answering you, but my mic's muted, and I'm sitting here watching her. Oh my God!
John, we're supposed to be getting better at this. We've done like 2 months of these things.
I don't have a mouse because I lost that little.
I gave it to you.
No, it's not it.
Oh, that wasn't it.
No, that's a dongle. I'm looking for the little wireless thing that goes into the USB so that the mouse,
Sorry.
Yeah, I know. That's fine. It's fine. There's Jen. All right. And then we get rid of, let's remove Kerry. And now we hit play for Jen.
Where did you pull in respect to the driveway?
I just pulled straight in next to the garage.
Did you see where Miss Roberts went?
I believe she pulled in behind me.
After you pulled into Meadows, John's home, and you stopped, what happened next?
We go into John's house.
When you went into John's house, did you all go in the same way?
Yes, we went through the garage.
And before going into John's home, did you do anything?
Before entering into the house,
Yes.
I took off my shoes.
You took off your shoes?
Yes,
Why did you do that?
because you always had to take your shoes off at John's. He didn't want you to track. He would have yelled at me for tracking snow in his house.
Did you see if Kerry took her shoes off or not?
I believe she did.
Did you see whether the defendant took her shoes off or not?
She just walked right in
How would you remember that?
because I thought it was
That
strange.
bitch.
What was your purpose when you went into the house? What was the number one thing that you were worried about?
We were looking for John.
You're looking for John. Karen goes running in looking for John. They just like nonchalant, well, let's take our shoes off, go looking for John.
Well, do you remember what Carrie said? Carrie said that it took them a minute because they had these big boots on.
Mm-hmm.
Like Carrie was like, yeah, it took us a little bit, and just it was weird because Karen just went running on in. But I'm sorry, if you're panicked, you're not thinking about any dirt or not. You would want to find the person.
Well, not only that, but I'm sorry to interrupt, but Karen knew John wasn't in that house, so she was looking to get in and out of there as quickly as possible to go
Of
find him.
course. She just came from that house.
Sorry, Boozy.
It's okay.
No,
I'm
it's
used
It's
not.
okay for him. Oh, it's okay for him to do it.
At
You
least-
do it all
at
the
least
time.
I apologized.
Yes, and not to mention, if I was to like be Eric, he'd stop right away. You keep talking. That's the problem.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
I kind of like that background. That's kind of
Jen!
You want it?
Jen! Can you do that face?
No. Okay. Bye. Back to Jen.
When are we gonna go have a drink at Elsie's table?
I
Hey,
don't
we,
think they'll serve me. Okay,
No.
Yeah.
we had
we
the
don't serve you.
Money's not green.
we had the opportunity at election night. They were there.
I know.
Oh, shucks.
I was being a misogynistic pig up at town hall.
Okay.
Huh?
Back to Jen.
Back to Jen. Let's go back to Jen before I make things worse.
Anything else on your mind when you went into his house?
Also, I knew Kaylee was there.
Now, at this point, did you have a close relationship with Kaylee?
Yes,
Do you still?
yes.
What did you do when you went in the house? Where did you go?
I walked through the kitchen and then I kind of peeked into the TV room. I walked through the dining room, and then before I went up the stairs, I kind of peeked into the living room. I went up to the top of the stairs. I peeked into John's room, and then I went into Kaylee's room.
Did you ever see John?
No,
Why did you go to Kaylee's room?
because I wanted to go check on Kaylee.
Did you have a chance to speak to her?
I did, yes.
What was her demeanor at that point?
She was very, she was in the bed. She was holding on to her phone. She was terrified.
Was she screaming?
No,
Did you provide her any comfort?
yes. I told her that I was going to go out. I told Kaylee that I was going to go out with them and I was going to find John. And I promised her that everything would be okay.
At some point, you left Kaylee?
Yes.
Where did you go?
So tough.
I went back downstairs and then we went out to look for John.
Before you left John's house that morning, did the defendant show you anything?
Yes. When we were out in the driveway, I had thought it was when we went in, but I think it might have been when we came out. But regardless, at one point,
Regardless.
when we were in the driveway at Meadows, Karen showed myself and Kerry Roberts the cracked taillight.
Did you or Miss Roberts get close to the taillight at that point?
Yes, we walked over and the taillight was missing pieces.
Did
She didn't have to show Kerry because we just saw Kerry tell us that she knew about it in Jen's driveway.
Does Roberts have any comment about it?
Yes, Miss Rob.
So she had a comment, next question.
What was Miss Roberts' demeanor at that point?
She was frustrated with Karen. Had said that had said that Karen basically was telling her to shut up. You were so drunk, you could have hit anything last night. And then Carrie, I remember just thinking, all right, let's go. And I remember Carrie thinking, oh,
Well,
someone's
let me
going
not
to
ask
get.
you what Carrie-
Oh, sorry.
So you notice they want to get out the fact that she was so drunk. They want to get out the fact that John could have been at other women's houses. Right? They want to get out the fact that they had gotten in a bad fight and either walked home with Chris Albert or went to Beal's house. You see how they just painting this, and they want to get out the fact that she just is screaming at the top of her lungs over and over and over. She's on repeat. Yeah, she's frantic. Because, yeah, maybe she did black out a little bit. It happens. But she didn't hit him.
We don't want to think what somebody thought.
Okay.
I want to know what you heard and what you saw. Okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
At some point when you were looking
Nice
at
veneers.
the taillight with missing pieces with the defendant and Miss Roberts did,
Why would they do just the tops? Why didn't they fix the bottom one?
Listen,
Miss Roberts point any?
jurors are literally going to look at her and they're going to think most likely that, not that, oh my God, she looks so good. They're going to think like, oh, like, why does she look like that? You know what I mean? And then with her demeanor on top of it, they're going to think not good things about Jen McCabe. They're not. And partly due with the way that she looks. She did too much.
Yeah. I got to play this back tomorrow and count how many times she looks at the jury.
Anything out?
Yes.
Share that with us.
She pointed a piece that was sticking out and was concerned that someone was going to catch their coat or something on it.
And during that time when the defendant is showing you the taillight with missing pieces, was she saying anything about it?
Look.
No, I don't. Not that I can recall right now.
You mentioned at some point you were saying, could I have hit him?
I can't recall right now because I forgot what I said last year, and I don't want to say what I said last year.
I can't remember the new timeline.
Exactly.
I can't wait for tomorrow.
I know. I should call in sick. Oh, I so wanted to.
Month.
Yeah.
Him after you left John's house. Was that in the car or before you got in the car?
I know for a fact it was definitely in the car. Was one of the times, yes.
Now, Miss Roberts' car is parked behind the defendant's car in John's driveway.
Yes.
Was there a decision made to take one or two cars?
One car.
What was the plan?
The plan was to get into Carrie's car and to go and look for John.
Hey, texter comment brings up a really good point. How did Kerry know she was that drunk?
Exactly.
Kerry wasn't part of it. Kerry wasn't in any of this.
It's almost like they got together and put a timeline together.
Oh, with a sister?
Well, somebody had to take the notes.
The note taker?
Why don't they just ask Denise themselves? She's right there.
How did Kerry know how drunk she was? That's a good one.
I wanted to go thinking, let's go to Tom Beatty's, but Miss Reed was pretty adamant that we go to Fairview first.
You said that at times there was some arguing or bickering, or Ms. Roberts was raising her voice to the defendant.
Yes.
Who made the decision to go to Fairview?
Ultimately, Carrie said, all right, we'll go there, almost like to shut her up.
When you got in the car, where was everybody?
We can't stall any longer.
Roberts's car. Where
Yes.
was everybody sitting?
Carrie was driving. I was in the front and passenger. Karen was in the back, in the middle, kind of peeking her head through between us.
I want you to take us through the ride from John's house at Meadows until you first get to Fairview. So as you pull out of, or Carrie Roberts pulls out of John's driveway, what is the mood inside that car?
I'd say it was starting to get tense because Karen was just continuously screaming. Carrie was trying to focus on driving, and
10 and
Karen's
2.
behavior in the back of the car was a bit erratic.
When you say erratic, can you just give some detail what you mean by that?
Yes, she would go from sitting back to leaning up in between us, and she would yell Carrie's name 3 times. Then she would yell my
repeat.
names three times.
On
And then
repeat.
she would yell, could I hit him? Did I hit him? Over and over again.
When she was repeating these questions or phrases that she was yelling, did you respond in any way?
I don't believe I did, no.
How about Carrie?
Carrie was telling her to shut up and to buckle up.
Was she buckled?
I don't believe so.
Was she buckled?
You began your drive from Mr. O'Keefe's home at Meadows to Fairview. Is the weather getting better?
No, it's getting worse.
Is the visibility still difficult?
It was terrible.
As you began that drive to Fairview, was there anything that you were doing on the way?
Yes, I was just kind of looking out the window intently to see if I saw anything.
Intently to see if I saw anything. Hey, Alan Jackson, you're supposed to be in bed. You have a big day tomorrow.
That's
AJ.
Jack.
That's AJ. Thank you for coming to our channel, AJ. I hope some of our comments you can use.
He's got a duel tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's and I don't know whether they're going to use fencing duel or they're going to take a couple of pistols and take 10 steps and turn around and fire.
We're almost to the end of her testimony. How long do you think tomorrow Brennan will take before we get the cross?
Oh, right to 225.
Oh, there's no way.
At least
They
till
start at
lunchtime.
9. They
At
start
least
at
till
9.
lunchtime.
You think he holds her to lunch?
There's still a lot to go, no?
Well, they
No.
always have a morning break.
They have that 11. Yeah, they have that 11 o'clock
Morning
break.
break, and then they have a little bit, then they have their lunch.
So maybe he does get her to lunch.
Either that or, yeah, I mean, he
Let her have. Yeah.
but I don't know.
What
I
were you
mean,
looking for?
Oops, sorry.
I guess
the
didn't-
longer he goes, and then he gets an opportunity to see where Alan Jackson's going, which I'm pretty sure he knows. But if he knows it's going to be 2 days, so why not take that night to prepare after he gets a glimpse of what's going on?
Right. Yeah, because he's going to have to do a redirect. Here we go.
Absolutely.
Let's bring it on home there, Jen. Bring it on home, Jen. Hey, the good thing is she's not watching us. She's getting a good night's sleep.
Yeah, right.
it's John, which I know it sounds crazy, but
No, you're crazy.
I didn't know where the hell he was.
Did you have any difficulty seeing from the car the side of the road?
Yes.
Did you see what direction Ms. Roberts was looking when she was driving?
Well, she, it was hard because she needed to focus on driving because the conditions were that bad.
10 and 2.
Did you have a chance to see the defendant on that drive at all?
Yes.
Was she looking out the windows with you?
No, she was popping back and forth and screaming.
Was it constant screaming, or did it change at all?
She would scream and then kind of sit back, and she'd almost be like quiet for a minute. It was like, okay, good. And then she'd start again.
In those quiet times, do you know what, if anything, she was doing?
I didn't know what she was doing that morning, no.
Should have just taken
How
her to
long did it
34
take to
Fairview.
get to Fairview?
6 minutes.
I don't know. I'm going to
6
assume
minutes.
maybe 10 minutes, like with the weather, maybe 10
From One Meadows to Fairview, 10 minutes?
At 15 miles an hour, it's not going to take 10 minutes.
minutes. I'm not, give or take approximately.
As you're approaching 34 Fairview Road, before you get
What?
there, is Fairview
Christ, Jesus fucking Christ. She's fucking drives me up a fucking wall. She drives me up a fucking wall. Even the whole thing with Ian Whiffin, we spent like 2 days with this guy. Even if we knew all of this and it took supposedly that 10 minutes, he's trying to say 1 clock, like there's no 3 clocks anymore. There's only 1 clock. That's the only one that matters. And he puts it later, 3 minutes later per the Waze data, which is not Waze data. It's actually Apple data. So that would mean Karen Reed wouldn't get back to Meadows if it was 10 minutes until 1:40 something, 46, 47, 48, something like that. If it takes 10 minutes per the new Waze it. You drive me up a wall. This is what happens in my head, and you're hearing it out loud right now. So she says it takes 10 minutes to get back. So if he got hit supposedly at 12:32, she would probably get closer home to like 1:45. Yet she is on John O'Keefe's Wi-Fi at 1:36, at 12:36.
Yep.
Okay, I'm rant done. Sorry.
No. I mean, it's literally what we're all saying and screaming at our TVs in real time.
Like it
And the fact that the juries are going to believe this.
here's the thing, the jury's not going to know. That's the problem. But we have spent so much time, all of us,
We know their story better than they know their story.
on Twitter, YouTube, TikTok. You would be surprised. Like, we have really gone in depth on this information, and we know, unless you're completely anti, you don't even need to be in Massachusetts. You just understand, like, it's just not possible to get home in that length of time where she doesn't know where she's going in the blizzard in less than 4 minutes. And now you have Jen McCabe on the stand saying that it took 10 minutes to get there. That's reasonable doubt.
Should we stop the trial right now?
Yes.
Should have. No, the trial should have been stopped. The trial should have been stopped a couple of days ago. Even with Ian Whiffin, because if you go by some of the things he said, then the "it's raining men" never happened. Because she would have had to open that YouTube. She would have had to open that window.
That's why when he was doing the live demo, I was like, okay, sure, it makes sense for the Google search at 227. Sure, if you want us to go that route. But then what about everything else that she did at that time frame too?
Yeah.
You just proved the whole point. It's not fucking accurate. Anywho, back to Jen.
Oh, let's I go like this, and then I go like this, and I go like that.
Are you going to be on your left side, driver's side, or on the right side?
As we're pulling up, it's on the driver's side. Carrie's going to take a left down Fairview off of Chapman.
I want you to take us back to that morning, about 20 or 30 yards before you get to Fairview.
Mm-hmm.
You're in the car with Miss Roberts and the defendant?
Yes.
What's happening in the car?
Karen's is screaming, and at that point she had asked if John could be cheating on her and if John could be with Bella's mom.
There you go.
I didn't know what the hell she was
Planting
talking
a
about.
seed.
I was like, what are you talking about? Why would he be with Bella's mom?
That doesn't even make sense.
Carrie said,
Because
he
earlier
walked to, there was another woman years before that John had
Here's
dated
another
who
one.
lived on the next street over to her house.
Here she is, planting the seed again of 2 women. Back that up a couple.
Name them. That's a Housewives reference. If anyone knows Housewives, name them. Name them.
So it's you dropped him off. He never came in here. He walked up the street to to go into Bella's mom's. Or, better yet, there's another woman another street over. Now we know why you're so jealous.
So who's the next street over then?
I was like, what are you talking about? Why would he be with Bella's mom? And then Carrie said, well, do you think he could have walked to, there was another woman years before that John had dated who lived on the next street over to her house.
55. Kerry said that?
And
Let's
as
see.
you
I'll have to look that
approach
one
that
up.
area before you get to the flagpole, does anything remarkable
Harry
happen?
mentioned Bella.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
What
Bella's
happens
mom.
next?
As we're driving
what I'm
down the
doing tomorrow.
street, I just say to Carrie, because she doesn't know where my sister lives, oh, her house is just at the bottom of the street.
Visibility still difficult?
Yes, awful.
What happens next?
We continue, driving, and we're driving slowly past, the line of, I guess, bushes and the flagpole area. And all of a sudden, Karen's screaming from the back, there he is, or something to the effect of, there he is, let me out.
Did you know what she was talking about?
I had no idea.
When she was yelling that, did you look out the window?
Yeah, we had our eyes peeled out the window.
Did you see anything?
Nothing but snow.
How long was she yelling about whatever it is she was saying?
Carrie, she screamed, stop. So Carrie stopped pretty quickly. There he is, there he is. She could have kicked the door, like, let me out of here.
And when she was kicking the door, what were you doing?
I was just like, what the heck? What is going on?
What happens next?
Ooh, what's going on?
She gets out. Carrie looks at me and said something. I said, like, she's batshit crazy.
Then what happens?
See the
Then
little
Carrie
shoulder
got
shrug?
out. Then I got out of the car, walked around the back of the car, and was walking, like, over to where I could see the girls were.
Now, at that point, you were in Kerry Roberts' car.
Yes,
It had his headlights on.
yes.
Was it facing up the street of Fairview?
Well, we had come down the hill, so yes, up the street.
There was no other lighting in that area?
I do not believe so.
No fire engines or ambulances at that point?
No,
No police cars?
no.
Any street lights?
It was dark.
When you got out of the car, did you look towards the area of the flagpole?
Yes,
Could you see anything at that point?
no.
How close did you get to the area of the flagpole before you could first actually see something?
Well, I saw the shadowy figures of Carrie and Karen, and it wasn't until I got
Shadowy
very
figure?
close over to them that I saw.
Are you shitting me?
Here it
I
comes.
saw
Here it comes.
Carrie removing the snow from John's face.
Is that the first moment you realized that that was John O'Keefe on the ground?
Yes, it was.
Since you guys placed him there.
When you see Kerry removing the snow from John's face, what do?
I was frozen. I was shocked. I couldn't believe that was him just lying there.
Tell us what you're seeing.
What do I see? I see Carrie just wiping the snow off. Karen had straddled him and had lifted her shirt and his shirt and was laying on him, and Carrie was screaming at her to get off of him. And I was literally just stunned. I mean, there he was.
What the hell was that?
What did John look like when you saw
Lion.
How'd she do on that one?
I don't smell. I don't see any tears, John.
They love me. They really love me. There's an
And-
Academy Award coming up on this one.
I really, really keep honing in on this point, but I don't know why they keep trying to say how Karen was acting, and Samantha said this in chat, why they're trying to think or explain that what Karen was experiencing was abnormal, because there are things called trauma responses: fight, flight, fear, fawn. It is completely normal to be acting like that in that kind of situation, especially if she potentially was still inebriated. Like, it is still a possibility, even if she was dead sober. It doesn't matter. For her to be freaking out like that and kicking Carrie's car is completely normal. To be having this response of like asking the same questions over and over again and rattling your brain and then trying to make sense of a situation that doesn't make sense.
Well, it's to me, everything that Jen is describing is what I would expect Karen to be acting this way. I mean, she's looking for her boyfriend, who's been out all night in a blizzard, and nobody knows where he is, and she's supposed to just be normal.
Right.
I don't think so. I think she'd be hysterical.
Right. And the opposite is true for Jen. How Jen is responding is abnormal. If you know John O'Keefe was last seen at 34 Fairview Road, the very first thing you're going to do when you drive up to that same property is you're going to look at that property. So the fact that she was kind of like la 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 is weird. It's even weird to think that for Karen to flip out and have that kind of a response, even if John wasn't there, even if she thought it was there, for Jen to be like, "Oh no, that's just weird." Like, what? No, he was last there. He's probably there.
The fact that they just didn't leave Jen's house and go straight to Fairview. I mean,
Right.
leave Karen's car there. There's already a broken taillight. She shouldn't be driving it, we were told.
Right.
So leave it there. And
Right.
And Kerry's car is at the bottom of the driveway, or, well, Kerry's car is in the driveway or at the bottom of the driveway, depending on who's testifying, getting Kerry's car.
common sense just isn't running wild with this story, I'll tell you that.
No. No.
Here we go. Here we go. 3, 2. No. Go. Who's that?
Oh boy.
Okay, put on Jen. Time to mute.
Small dog, huh, John?
That's his mommy.
He's like,
Jen,
did you bring my Pricks and cider?
Jen, put on Jen. You got to put on Jen.
Hello, John.
Jen?
I hit mute.
Put on Jen.
I heard you. I was saying, Jen.
You can hear the echo.
Do we need a
It's a
commercial?
delay. No, that's not the echo. That's Mullins listening to us on the phone. Mullins is home, and yeah, the shepherd and Chloe's going crazy. Here we go.
Sorry.
I couldn't see much but his face because the rest was snow and Karen was moving over
Should I
him.
lip
but
Shush, shush.
like just him, but just like frozen.
Let's
What did you
know.
do?
At first, I just stood there for a minute because I couldn't believe it was him. And then Carrie Roberts and I made eye contact. And I knew, I was like, all right, I'm going to call 911. But I think I knew in that moment that John, was dead.
She knew.
Did you call 911?
Yeah, I started to call 911 and Carrie and Karen were just screaming. And
No tears.
so I walked back towards Carrie's car, and then Carrie was also yelling at me to go to the back of the car to look for blankets and towels. So as I was calling 911, I was at the back of the car looking for the towels and the blankets to bring over to Carrie. And while I was doing that, I believe 911 answered.
Did you speak to 911?
I did, yes.
Did you get the towels and blankets that Kerry had requested?
I did, yes.
After your phone call with 911 and you had the towels and blankets, tell us what happens next.
So after I called 911, I went back over to Carrie, Karen, and John. And at that point, Carrie asked if I would take over compressions. So she got up and I started doing compressions, and Karen was doing mouth to mouth.
When you started doing compressions, were you touching John over his clothes or touching his skin?
I don't remember.
Did you, at that point, get a chance to touch John's body and see how it felt temperature-wise?
I just remember when I was doing the compressions, I don't really know how to explain it. It just felt very funny.
I'm sorry.
didn't
very
take
It just wasn't like normal.
She didn't do compressions.
Very funny.
She didn't do compressions.
It felt very funny.
She doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. She didn't
I can't think of how to describe the way it felt when I was trying to press down, but it was like resistance.
How long did you try to give compressions and give aid to John for?
Stop it.
Until the police came.
Mr. Brennan, why don't we end here?
There you go.
Thank you.
Mr. McCabe, we need you back tomorrow.
We're going to need you back tomorrow.
Jurors, that's it for today.
John, was there ever any testimony last time that she did chest compressions and CPR?
Oh, it's something I'm going to look up.
I just don't. I don't remember it myself. So this
I
could
don't
be
remember
something.
that. We're going to look up chest compressions.
I believe it was briefly mentioned. I don't remember who it wasn't pushed upon, but Carrie briefly mentioned it this trial too, because this is something I've been harping on. Because I'm like, you're not supposed to come. I'm CPR certified. You're only supposed to do CPR for like 2 minutes, and then your adrenaline gets pumping, right? So you're supposed to switch off with a partner.
Switch off. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Oh, like Flamati did when he heard I hit him.
Well, here's the thing. Well, that's the other thing, because I was looking at all of the what's it called, paramedic EMT testimonies, and that's why I heard all this stuff all over again, because I was like, wait a second. So Carrie testified that she did CPR compressions for 4 to 6 minutes. By then, Saraf would have been Saraf. I always pronounce
Saraf.
Saraf, whatever. Saraf, Karaf
Saraf.
of wine was already there. So he would have already been on the scene, and Carrie was on him when he pulled up.
Pull up, bitch.
Yeah.
That's a good question, though. From what time the 911 call came in to the first police officer or the first cruiser showed up? I wonder how much time elapsed.
Well, we know because we have Saraf's dash cam.
Correct.
No,
That's something we should look into because
I'm almost positive it was only like 4 minutes. Like it
4 minutes,
wasn't
right?
It wasn't. He was there quick, and then you can see because he gets out of the car. He's like, "What happened? What happened? Does he do drugs?" And then that's when you hear Karen go, "My boyfriend, I left him. You know, he didn't come home." And then right after that, you see Mulaney pull up from the other side.
Because one went down Dedham Street, one went down Chapman.
And did we at any point when those first cruisers showed up, did we ever see Jen over near the flagpole where John was?
John, no. So Jen never from the dash cam, from what I remember, because I was looking at this intently, because I was like, I know this motherfucker didn't do CPR. They're just adding this in now to make her look good, and that's the reason why she's fake crying. Because how many of us were like, she didn't even seem empathetic or sympathetic, like she seemed like she didn't care. So now all of a sudden, now we're getting a fucking soap opera testimony. So what Jen did is you can see her at the Carrie's trunk, the hatch. And then you can see her running, like not on the grass, but kind of like on the berm or whatever. And then because Karen books it, like if John's right here, Karen's right here, and she runs this way, sprints. And then you can see Jen grabs Karen, brings her over to the view of the camera, because then the EMTs show up. And then from there, you can see them go over. Nuttall checks his pulse. You can see him get up around the same time. You see Kerry get up, and that's when you see Nuttall go over to Jen and Karen, and that's when Karen flips the fuck out and she starts running around, because that's when he told her, "Oh, he doesn't have a pulse," and that's why she flipped the fuck out. Oh, it makes me so mad. Jen didn't do CPR. It felt funny. You don't even know how to do CPR, and nor was she even asked that.
Well, she's
And
the run-of-the-mill average,
Right.
stay at
Oh,
home.
Can't wait for tomorrow.
House. Okay, so people in your chats, get ready for this. We're gonna ask Boozy this first. So okay, you got to watch it. What are your thoughts?
I think I just said all my thoughts.
No. I mean, like, in not the ending thing. You got to watch her testimony, the beginning of it. What are you thinking?
Did we do a tally of how many times she
Do you
lied?
expect it?
I mean, how many things did she change her testimony on, or exaggerate, or the opposite, like try to avoid?
Or change? Just, or they glossed over a lot.
Well, that's what I mean. I feel like though that's part of the game plan. I think they're gonna hit that when they do redirect. I think they're going easy. They're glossing over certain things because Alan Jackson's gonna go hard at her.
And then they'll try to clear up things on redirect.
Exactly, and then there's gonna be recross, and I think that's where she's gonna get fucked.
Are her eyes going to be bigger tomorrow?
Oh, I think Jackson AJ is gonna go in for the kill, and try to draw out some anger, and I think it's mano a mano.
Does she hold her own?
This is Roberto Duran, Marvin Hagler, all that stuff.
Oh no, Hagler
You know what I
Hearns.
mean?
This will be Hagler Hearns.
This is Hagler Hearns. This is,
Yeah.
It's
You saw how easy.
Boozy for you, it'd be more like Shakira versus J Lo, or like Britney versus whoever the other one was.
I feel like we're putting the Super Bowl before the season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's so early in this, and we're already here.
Have you noticed they haven't put one officer on yet?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, the whole planning of this is so much different than the first trial. It's hard to predict. I mean,
That's going to be a Vegas odd. What's the over under on Jen asking to see some sort of sort of paperwork that she's done?
or how many times is she going to say, Mr. Jackson?
Yeah.
Well, she was already rattled just by that one little nothing burger with Brennan. Like, what's going to happen when some real questions get snapped at her?
Did you go out to the car when it was out at the? Why would I do that? I'm just asking a question.
I mean, once they start bringing up, screw the reports. What about her trial 1 testimony?
With this, do you think she'll throw Kerry under the bus?
They're going to have to try to prove that she did CPR. Good luck.
Why didn't she go inside and get some blankets?
Blankets are in the back of the car.
Why did
They
Kerry
had blankets in the back of the car?
Why did the cop allow Kerry to take the blanket?
Oh my God! Why did Kerry want bloody blankets?
Right.
That is bizarre. She went over and picked baby blankets. Go to Target and get some new ones. That's disgusting. I can't. Your best friend and you want his bloody blanket. I can't.
How about this? You think she's going to get mad?
Who?
Do you think she's going to be more angry this time?
Oh,
knowing he's coming after her. Like, do you think she's going to get all psyched up?
I think she might be expecting some anger from AJ when I can tell the way that he's objecting. He's being very soft himself.
Or do you think she's going to be calm because of...
It's going to be a long day.
It's going to be a long day. Those are going to be a lot of gummies.
Oh, my.
I honestly wouldn't even be surprised if she gets a day 3. It wouldn't surprise me.
I'm fully anticipating day 3. I don't think Jackson's going to be over in 3 hours.
Well, because have you noticed, because Hank Brennan's obviously a defense attorney. He's not a special prosecutor. So back in trial 1, we didn't see this much back and forth, right? Some of the experts, or even Kerry, we didn't even have a cross. Now, have you noticed we not only have a direct, we have a cross, we have a redirect, and a recross.
Yep.
This is why when she was saying like, oh, it's only going to be 6 weeks, I'm like, Good luck.
Yeah, because they spared Kerry last time, and then they
Right.
knew this time. They're like, yeah, no, no.
And I think she's going to get recalled when the defense takes over and gets their opportunity.
Well,
I don't think they're done with her.
No.
Kerry, there's so many. Once again, you can't just say one person's lying. Someone's lying, whether it's Kerry or whether it's Jen. All right, you got Kerry that says, "I took the phone call," because Kerry was at Jen's house both times, doing the timeline. Right, the first time she was there is when Jen handed her the phone for Proctor. And according to Jen, well, she was sitting right next to me. I heard everything. But according to Kerry, well, no, I took the phone and I went in another room. Well, what is it? And then the next time is when the two cops showed up. And that's the one when she wanted to know if a certain cop wrote the report. And Alan Jenkins like, does it matter? Because she knew she knew that report. That's how she remembered everything. She knew that report by that officer. That's how she connected that report, what was in that report, to that officer. That's why she was asking. Yeah.
Well, good luck to her when she gets called back.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm gonna be ready for tomorrow. I know that. My phone's gonna be charged and I'm gonna be screen recording. And then I got a lot of stuff that I gotta look up now.
Yeah.
I got a lot of things to look up.
It's gonna keep you busy.
It is. I'm telling you right now, I still think that timeline that Boozy gave us, the 222 butt dial, the 225 texts, the other 225 text, then deleting at 226, then the 227 Hoss long, right? Telling you.
And yeah, because if you guys want it, it's just Sleuthy Goosey on Twitter. She has it pinned on her top of her profile, and this has been like my main thing because she has all like what's it called, the reports in there, the motions. Like she has all these tabs, so I mean she's got everything in there. But yeah, that time frame is like it's really broken down, and it's like wow, all of this really did happen all at the same time.
So, what do we do if tomorrow's explosive?
I'll see you at 7:30.
Yeah. If tomorrow just kind of goes, yeah, then so. But I'm telling you, if tomorrow ends up being,
Let's just put it in the books at 7:30.
we'll know. Or I'll know by lunch. How's that? By lunchtime, people.
Yeah.
We'll know. We'll know by lunchtime. If it's going to be that, oh my effing God, we're going to have to talk about this. If it's not, if they gloss over a bunch of shit and I'm like, fuck this,
I
then we
can't wait.
won't.
I can't wait for Ellen Jackson and Jen McCabe to say hello to each other once again. Just the introductions is going to be spectacular.
I got to free up some space on my phone. I'm going to need a storage device.
I don't know if I'm going to get a good night's sleep. I don't know about you guys.
Oh, I am. I am so going to go right to sleep. I'm going to be like, I didn't even have the White Claw tonight. I didn't need it.
Boo.
Dude, not one tear. Not one tear. She choked up 3 times.
Who was the blonde guy that murdered his wife and one of his sons? That he was on the stand. He took the stand in his own defense, and the jurors said that when he was crying, they didn't see a single tear.
They
Really?
catch on to
Murdoch.
Yeah, Murdoch.
Murdoch.
How about Walsh? Walsh is looking at Ian Whiffin going, hey, why don't you come over here now?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
It's good. There's so many cases. It's not good.
Yeah,
It's not.
that kind of sucks. You know what I mean? That's
Oh, thank you, Bridget. Bridget,
not
which one's your favorite? Am I your favorite? Holy friggin' beef. Oh, Boozy, besides your birthday? It's Dylan's birthday.
today.
Yeah. Right? Today, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. 2 years.
Happy birthday, Dylan.
Hobdell. She got him this giant friggin' deer bone or something. I don't know what the friggin' thing is. The thing's like this big. The giant meat bone this big.
Yum.
Yeah. It's his birthday. It's his birthday present.
Delicious.
So yeah, all right, people. Well, thank you. Let's we didn't we really didn't have much to go through, but I know that people, if you want to donate, you know where it is across the bottom. If you want to go to the store, we have T-shirts. We have old lady bathing suits. We have young lady bathing suits. We have underwear.
John, John,
We
you're-
have
You're not the guys that should be selling merch.
what? We have golf balls now.
I mean, you got to work on this.
How do you get rid of this
I mean,
now?
you really
Oh,
got to.
shit. I got to get back to media.
Old
assets.
lady bathing
What?
suits, really?
Oh, you mean I'm very uncouth? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I mean,
Are you calling me uncouth?
No wonder you're breaking rocks for a living.
Obtuse? Are you calling me obtuse?
What'd you say was the first word?
Uncouth? What? And I used it correctly, yes.
Okay.
And obtuse. But I got that one from Shawshank, so I can't. He got thrown in the hole for calling the warden obtuse. Yeah, we got, you don't have it on, Eric. We got the fishing hats.
We do have the fishing hats.
We got the golf balls. We got the it's golf season,
By the
people.
way, that bucket hat is
Yeah?
awesome. Great.
Really? I'm going to get
Oh,
one.
Nice.
I'm going to get one Friday. I'm going to order one Friday.
Yeah.
I'll get one too. I wonder if we can get them in different colors.
Oh,
Boozy, is there anything you want? You want a boozy line? We'll get you a boozy line.
I have to have a boozy line.
What? We'll come up with a boozy line of merch.
Hey,
It needs to be like.
I like that. Murphy's still looking for one of those umbrellas that says Canton Chronicle on it.
I came here to watch the Chronicle, and all I got was boozy. I don't know. We'll come up with something. Oh, see? Right there. Look at that. Bridget Jenkins. I'm her favorite.
She's just being nice to
I
you.
love you too. I love you guys too. She just knows I have the control.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, JC the Music Man. You know what he wants me to say?
All I want for my birthday is a big booty hoe.
No. Aw. Right? See? Aw.
JC, the Music Man, does his research.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
That's our guy out. That's our guy out west, right?
Yeah.
Sacramento. Sacramento.
He literally, when I was in the chat before I came on, he literally he looked up. He must have Googled my name and found an old article from like 15 years ago.
Was it a police report?
No, it was
Oh.
it was actually you remember? I think his name was Joe Fitzgerald. Wrote for the Herald.
Was it Jim?
Am I
or
getting it
Joe?
wrong? I should get it right because my grandfather knew him, and he came in, bought a car from us 15 years ago, and we just struck up a conversation, and I told him a story, and he loved the story, so he wrote about it for Thanksgiving.
Hmm.
It was a true story. Go research it.
I have a lot of other research to do tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I
I write. This is what gets me in trouble. I write on the mail, right? I write on the mail because it's.
it might actually.
And then Mullins goes and sticks it all somewhere else, and I'm like, "Where are my notes?" And she goes, "What notes?" I go, "It's on a piece of mail." Oh, how come the dog doesn't show up on your little? Oh, there he is.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, don't go mine. I can get mine going big time. But so, all right.
John, we're not doing another 4-hour show.
No.
I've only been here for like an hour and a half.
No. We put Boozy on the big screen, and she's got her dog howling. Jesus. So
Awesome.
I know. Enough of
Good
that.
boy.
Classic.
So we should say goodbye. I don't have the exit song yet, but we could do we could let Boozy and the boys. We could end with Boozy and the boys.
I think we should. I think now it's
You want to end with Boozy and the boys?
Yeah, 'cause I got a boy on my lap
Absolutely.
too.
All right, let's end the show with Boozy and the boys, and we're gonna go with if it's unbelievable tomorrow, we're coming back.
We'll
And
see you
if it's
tomorrow.
just yeah, see you tomorrow, folks. Let me see if I get the right.
Have a
let me
good
make
night,
sure
everybody.
let me make sure I get the right one first.
Live from Canton, it's the place to be with John C. and Eric D. They've got the scoop, the laughs, the drive. It's time for Canton Chronicle Live. But wait, what's this? The script's gone rogue. A twist so wild it broke the code. Tonight's the night, so raise your noise. It's Boozy and the boys. Boozy's taking charge, the queen of the scene, with sass, class, and a martini sheen. John and Eric, just background noise on Boozy and the boys. So grab your drink, your tea, your vibe. It's chaos, truth, and a Canton tribe. One night only, so don't miss the ride. It's Canton Chronicle Noise.
That's it. Bye, guys.
Good night.
I don't know why it's not ended.
You gotta
It
hit the
won't
button,
end.
John.
I'm trying.
hit the
I've hit it
button.
I've hit it 3 times.
Good boy.